All right. And we're back. And we're back. Sorry about that, everyone. I had to go take my dad to go pick up his work truck at his dad's place. But on the bright side, I did get to see a zebra. Holy Hunkers says, "Hey, Dalts. Hello, Holy Hunkers." All right, let's send out. Make sure everyone to tap the screen and share the live out so we can get some interesting conversations about the Bible.
Hello.
So on my way to go drop my dad off at his dad's place, we drove past this guy. He's like the local like rich entrepreneur guy. Oh, and he had a zebra, which was really cool to see. So it was not all for nothing. Now let's see if we get any callers. Let's see.
Dogs were more fun-sized into a zebra.
Yes, that's exactly what happened. We'll see if we get any Christians now who don't run away from the conversation and who are actually able to answer questions that I ask them. So if you're a Christian out there, I need you to Holy Spirit up and come up here and talk to me about why I should believe in the Bible. I know I'm working against the odds right now because the Atheist Experience is on, and so is Ian. But we can do this, y'all.
And so is Joel reads the Bible.
The odds are stacked against us, but I think we should. With Doug's help, we can prevail.
Praise Doug.
Don't Holy Ghost us, Christians. So we got here. NC Highlander says, "So Christians really believe a man was swallowed by a whale and lived for 3 days?" Supposedly, that's what they believe. Although there are some Christians who actually think that Jonah died in the whale and was brought back to life by God. Let's see. Only 15 people in here, so hopefully we get some more audience. Keep tapping that screen. I see we have 500 likes. I need to see more likes.
Tap Dalton. Tap him real hard.
Tap this nice, clean shaven face of mine. In Hebrew, it's not a whole. It's translated into great sea creature. That's correct. That is correct. Oh, we got a guest already. We got Cam Brandt. Cam, I'm going to ask you the same 3 questions I ask every single one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yeah, I'm 20.
All right, question number 2.
What year were you born?
20. Wait, what? I'm 20.
What year were you born?
Oh, 2005, my bad.
Yeah.
What month? It says 16 on your profile. That's mine.
Oh, yeah, I'm a liar. I think we should believe in the Bible because faggots like anal.
All right.
Yep, they're 16.
16 years old. And also he has a secret fetish that he just revealed to everybody. Listen, it's okay. You're okay to come out of the closet, dude. It's fine. We're not going to judge you here. But you're obviously repressing something within yourself. Lovely way to start off the live. He was probably actually a Christian, which is the sad part.
Yeah. Did you block him?
Go ahead and do that.
You didn't.
No, I trust you to block people who use slurs.
Yeah, I didn't.
Oh.
I thought you had.
My trust was misplaced. No.
You disconnected them before I could do it.
Oh, right. I forgot about that. Warrior says, typical Christian behavior. Sadly, that is the case. Klopnow says, sounded like it would have been a very fruitful discussion. Unfortunately, he was too young. Yeah. Too young and also too repressed.
So I was watching Dean's live because I do when I'm falling asleep. sometimes. I just put on Big Lives and just listen to their voice. And when I got on, it was like a massive amount of swastikas. And I clicked on the users. Guess how many were Christian? Like,
Probably the majority of them.
yep.
Oppo says you're.
I have a video of it too, so I was like, should I post this?
I would. Oppo says you're back. What about my back? I'm not sorry. They said you're back. Yes,
Don't worry,
I
I'll
have.
be doing this to me too.
Yeah.
It's not just you.
I have returned. I'm hoping that me having left and then coming back doesn't ruin like the algorithm or anything like that, but I had to go. No Name said the Bible is created for naive people to control. Naive.
Naive.
Sorry, it was capitalized, so I thought it was a different word. Naive people to control and create an economy off of. I don't think that's why it was created. I think that is how it got used eventually, but I don't think that was its original intention. I was on Mezzo's live the other night, and a Christian called Deuteronomy 21 grape a beautiful thing. Of course. Naive. Yeah, I love it. Oopsie. Let's see.
Yeah, I've been told by a Christian that I deserve to be great, but I've heard really gross things from Christians.
Trider 3 says, you do not have to believe in the Bible. God's grace is you have a choice. And the answer is no, I don't have a choice because beliefs aren't choices. But you're more than welcome to come up and discuss that with me. No Name says, thank you for reading my words. You're welcome. Let's see.
Make sure you're tapping that screen, sharing out the live. Make sure you can post it now.
Repost.
Yeah, send the daily heart me if you can. Those things help the algo.
I think I might end up trying. People are just misinformed. I agree. Oh, there are lots of people who are just misinformed. Oops, looks like we got someone in the box. Let's see. We got Aaron Coddington. Aaron, I'm going to ask you the same questions I ask every single one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1. Are you at least 18 years old? Aaron? Aaron, is this like the example you want to set for what Christianity is?
Nigga, I'm not even a...
Yeah, nice. No, we ain't going to play that. Sound like a no to me. Okay, Big Papa. Gee whiz. Let's hopefully so we get some adults in here. Gee whiz. Okay, Big Papa, I'm going to ask you the same 3 questions I ask every single one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18?
I am, sir.
All right, question number 2, are you a Bible believer?
Yes, I am. Yes. Don't hold it
And then
against me.
And then question number 3, what are your pronouns?
I am a man, he, him, if that's what
He,
we're
him.
referring to.
All right, I'm Dalton the Bible guy. Big Papa, I don't believe in the Bible. Why should I believe in the Bible?
Well, the way that the thing that I find most helpful when I'm approaching the Bible is I approach it as a historical account of historical events. You know what I mean? And then we can get into like, who are these people? Is there any proof that they existed? All of those other things. But I've done a little bit of research, and it satisfied my curiosity enough to think that it is a historically verifiable document.
Oh, it's not. It definitely isn't. I can give you an example. Have you read the book of Daniel?
No, scare me. I read it, but you
All right.
tell me what you want to tell me.
Well, Daniel tells us that Belshazzar was the name of a king in Babylon when he never was king. And it tells us that Belshazzar's father was Nebuchadnezzar, which his father wasn't Nebuchadnezzar. We have actual historical records from the Babylonians themselves as to who was king and when. So Daniel doesn't even know who was the king of Babylon and when.
Yeah, no, I would definitely have to do my research on the Daniel claims and things of that nature. But obviously
Sure.
some of the New
Then
Testament events and stuff I think is a bit more satisfying to me.
All right, then let's do the Gospels. You believe that Jesus had a 3-year ministry, right?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
All right. Now, the Gospel of Luke tells us that Jesus was born when the census of Quirinius took place, right?
Yes, it does. Yep.
Yeah, which took place in 6 CE. And then it tells us that Jesus was baptized when he was 30, about 30, right?
Yes, it does. Yep.
So that would place his baptism at 36 CE, which would place his crucifixion 3 years later in 39 CE, correct?
This CE, are you speaking about Common Era or are we speaking about AD
Common Era.
and BC?
AD is the same thing as CE.
Oh, that's all very confusing. So AD. Okay, yeah, I got you.
So he was crucified around 39 CE, right?
Yes, I would go with that. Where
Well,
we
here's the
going with
problem.
that?
Here's the problem. The governor of Judea by the name of Pontius Pilate only served as governor of Judea from 26 to 36 CE. He was not even the governor of Judea when Jesus apparently was crucified, according to the Gospel of Luke.
Okay, beautiful. So how do we verify these dates? How did you go about verifying
From
these dates?
from actual historical records like the works of Josephus.
So Josephus tells us when Pontius Pilate was in power.
Yeah, he tells us when Pontius Pilate was in power.
Does he?
He tells us when Componius was in power. He gives us a rough date for most of the high priests of the first century. And that's not the only problem with Luke's whole genealogy, because you've already admitted to me that Luke places Jesus' birth in 6 CE
Yeah, no,
during the census.
before. Yeah, no. We'll get to that one for a second, but let's just circle back to this Josephus idea. Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Josephus the one that actually claims that the followers of Jesus, believed he was resurrected and he was unalived under Pontius Pilate?
Yeah, I accept that Jesus was a real person, and he was crucified under Pontius Pilate, which is why Luke
No, but
is not.
Josephus says that in his writings, though.
Yes, which is why Luke is
Josephus
incorrect,
himself
because
says that.
yes, I agreed that Jesus existed and he was crucified under Pontius Pilate, which is why Luke's timeline is spurious.
Yeah. So then Luke might have got it wrong, but it doesn't change the fact that those events actually happened. It might be an error in Luke's timeline,
I thought
right?
I thought the Gospels were historically accurate.
Well, human beings can make mistakes, in terms of certain
Oh, so,
discrepancies of dates,
oh,
but it
so you
doesn't
don't
actually change
believe?
the fundamental.
So
It
you don't
doesn't
think
change
that
the
you don't
fundamentals
believe
of the
that?
story.
So you don't believe the Gospels are divinely inspired? Just to be clear.
Well, if we're looking at the bedrock of the claims, which is Jesus was unalived under Pontius Pilate, I think that is historically sound. Now, if we're going to get into the dates as to when exactly and what day it was and what the moon and the sun was doing on that day, I think we're going to run into all kinds of problems because you
Oh,
have
I
very
agree. Lots of
varying
problems because the
accounts.
Gospels don't agree with each other on any of those sort of things.
Yeah. So outside of that, I mean, obviously it's a big thing for you, but why would you say that it is not historically verifiable in that regard? If we do know
Because
the core tenets are still in
because when
place.
we look at the Gospels, it kind of looks like they're just myths about Jesus. They're not actually telling us anything about the actual historical Jesus of Nazareth.
And why do you say that?
Well, they read like myths, first and foremost, because we don't know who wrote them. They never cite their sources, and the events in the Gospels either contradict each other or they just sound ridiculous. Like, for example, Jesus walks up to the disciples and just says, "Follow me," and then all of a sudden they just follow him, no questions asked. Or Jesus continuously tells the disciples that he's going to die and be resurrected, and yet they're still surprised when it actually happens. Or Jesus making arguments with the Pharisees, arguments which are so dumb and dull that any rabbi worth his salt could have answered Jesus.
I appreciate that. And do you believe that they actually got up and followed him, or do you believe that they were actually surprised when he said he was going to be unalived, and then
I
he
don't
actually
think
got unalived?
I don't think the
Should I say
historical
that?
I don't think the historical Jesus actually ever predicted his own death.
And what is your verification for that?
Is that we don't have any evidence that he actually said this, because again, the Gospels are just myths about Jesus.
And then yet he actually did unalive, right?
Yeah, he did die. A lot of people died in the ancient world. All of them,
And
actually. And
Josephus
a lot of them died
actually
from crucifixion.
maintained in his letters that the followers of Jesus believed that he actually rose again.
No, no, he never says that.
Is that Tacitus or is that Josephus or Pliny the Younger? Who am I thinking of? Now?
Pliny the Younger makes the claim that Christians worshipped Christ as a god, and that and Tacitus does talk about his execution under Pontius Pilate, and that it's a superstition, the Jesus belief that still existed to this day, but has been quelled for some time. And all Josephus tells us about Jesus is that Jesus was a wise man, and that he was crucified under Pontius Pilate at the behest of the Jewish leaders, and that people still believed in him to this day, but it doesn't say anything about a resurrection.
And where does this idea of, I think it was Josephus, where he attributes the title King of the Jews, obviously in a
No,
mocking way.
Josephus
Was it
never says that.
Josephus? Was that
No,
Tacitus?
that's the Gospels.
No, but I understand that one of the outside sources, I think it was Tacitus or something, he does actually mockingly refer to, the Christ Jesus as King of the Jews, in
No,
one of his letters.
no.
Yeah, I think it is true. Maybe we can agree to disagree on that. But let me ask
Well,
you
no,
this
we
question.
we don't
Let me
agree
ask
to
you this
disagree if
question.
you don't have any actual good reason for
Okay,
me
no,
to
no
agree to
problem.
disagree.
I'll grant you that. Let me ask you this. Why do you think Jesus was a real person?
Because Josephus writes about him, and so does Tacitus, and Paul knows his
And,
brother.
Paul knows his brother, James, right?
Yeah.
Now, my thing is, why do you trust Paul to tell you any truth about anything regarding Jesus?
Well, I don't think that Paul is going to tell me the truth about Jesus. He'll tell me true things about like his day-to-day life and his experience with other people. I don't think that any of Paul's visions are like relating what actually was like real in the real world. I think that he was just
Okay, are you telling me
having
what you
psychological
think now?
experiences.
Are you
Hmm?
telling me what you think, or are you telling me something that is verifiable? Because you seem like a
I know.
verificationist.
I think that Paul tells us that he knows James' brother. I have no reason to doubt him. Paul tells us that he had visions of Jesus. I don't doubt that he had visions of Jesus. I just don't think those visions of Jesus are actually like real visions from a divine source.
And then, if I took the opposing position, which one of us would be right?
Well, do you have any evidence that Paul actually saw a resurrected Jesus as opposed to just
Yes, I
having
do.
as opposed to him just having a psychological experience?
Yeah, because you know who Paul was before he was Paul, right?
Before he was always Paul.
Was he not Saul of Tarsus?
Yeah, he was Saul and Paul at the same time. That
Ah, ah, ah.
I know this is a common like belief among Christians, but Saul did not change his name to Paul. The Book of Acts says that he was Saul, also called Paul. Like it was
No,
common
no,
for
no,
it was
not
common
also called
it was
Paul.
common
He was
yes that's what it says. It's common for Jews who lived in the diaspora to have both a Greek and Hebrew name. It
no.
says Paul, who was also called Saul.
Well, he was called Saul prior to this road on Damascus thing that he had, this experience, who nobody really knows if it's true or not. But
It's
he
not.
was first Saul, and Saul was a particular person.
What do you say? What do you
Who
mean
was
first
Saul?
Saul? He never stopped being Saul. What are you talking about?
Was he not renamed Paul? Was he
No,
not given the name Paul as well? Because why
no.
would you call yourself Saul and then Paul as well?
Because Big Papa. Okay, maybe you can understand this. Like for example, you'll have like for example Asian foreign exchange students who come to America, and instead of using their name from birth, they'll have another name from a different language so that people can refer to them. This was common. This is not only common among this is common among modern day Jews that in the synagogue they have a Hebrew name. And then in their day-to-day life, they have their English name. The same was true for the
Yeah.
Jews of the diaspora in the first century. They would have Greek names and Hebrew equivalents. Like, for example, Yeshua was also called Jesus. Kepha was also called Petros. Shaul was also called Paulos. They just had both names.
Righto. No, no, no. Okay, I'll grant you that point. But for me, the only thing that I see as a difference, when it comes to Saul of Tarsus, is that he has this radical epiphany, whatever you want to call it, on the road to Damascus,
I don't think so.
and he goes from one state of being, to another state of being. Can you
Sure.
tell me what those states are?
Well, Paul tells us that he was a persecutor of Christians, and then he had an interior revelation of Jesus, which caused him to convert to the Nazarene sect.
Yes, and do you know how he unalived? How Paul unalived and what his life was like after he
We
had
don't.
this radical transformation?
Sure. I mean, Paul was put to death under the Romans around 64
Yeah, so you telling
CE.
me, yes, beautiful. So we are in agreement there. So you telling me that somebody would willingly want to put himself in a situation of persecution
Uh huh.
out of some kind of a delusion that he might have experienced?
Yeah, Paul
Or is
believed
it
that his
because it was
Paul
true?
believed
Or is it
Paul
because he
Paul believed
believed?
his delusion. Paul believed his delusion was real.
How do
He
you know
thought
that? How do you
he
know that
really
Paul had a
he really
delusion?
believed that he was visited by Jesus.
Yeah,
So he
but
was
how do you
willing,
know that it wasn't real?
because I don't have any good reason to think it was real.
Now, just because you don't have any good reason, can't we look at the life of Paul and the
The life of
transformation
Paul
that
doesn't
he actually
the life of there's
experienced
nothing
from
about the
being
life
a
of there's
persecutor,
nothing about
from
the
being
life
a
of Paul.
persecutor of these followers?
Gee whiz, you cannot overtalk me. There is nothing in the life of Paul that would tell me whether or not his visions were of a real resurrected Jesus or if he was just having a psychological experience about Jesus. There's nothing that in the life of Paul that you can point me to.
Yeah, the evidence for me, and I say this
Hold on.
respectfully,
Big,
the
big, big,
evidence for
big,
me.
big. Do you know what the word jihad means?
Oh, see you guys later.
We got a runner. That's our first runner for the show, everybody. Get some track stars in the comments. As soon as a woman talked to him, he had to run. That's terrifying. We have
I mean, it's literally just struggle and striving, specifically like for Allah. Like it's very clear that other people have this intense belief and believe that they like have the struggle. Um,
Dark Knight. We have 3 questions for you to ask all of our questions, all of our guests these questions, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1: are you at least 18?
I am. I'm so sorry, bro. I'm actually just friendly. I didn't know I requested up. My bad, man.
Oh, okay. You're good.
I'm so
Have a good
sorry.
day, Dark Knight.
Take care, bro.
All right. Our next guest is going to be Max Hannock 999. Max, I'm going to ask you the same 3 questions we ask all of our guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1: are you at least 18?
Yeah,
Question number 2: are you a Bible believer?
of course.
And question number 3: what are your pronouns?
He, him.
All right. I'm
and
Dalton.
question number 4: are you scared of women?
Of course not. I have a girlfriend.
Okay, just
Good.
making sure this didn't run you off.
Anyways, Max, I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. I don't believe the Bible. Why should I?
Um, well, I'm just gonna start off here. I'm a person, I don't believe I'm going to convince you. You have your own convictions. I will have a conversation with you. If you're willing to have a conversation, I will be happy the day you turn Christian. I think that would be amazing,
Eh,
but
probably
I'm
won't
not here
happen.
to.
I think I'm inoculated against Christianity because I know the Bible too well.
I can understand where you're coming from. Well, just starting off, I'd like to go back to the book of Daniel. Can you restate your points that you were talking with the previous guy?
Yeah, the book of Daniel makes the claim that there was a king in ancient Babylon named Belshazzar. There never was. He was only a vice regent. His father Nabonidus was actually the king, and his father wasn't Nebuchadnezzar, like Daniel says.
Yes, very good, very good. Okay, do you know the ancient Aramaic, Hebrew, or Greek word for co-regent?
Co-regent. So the
Yes.
typical word used for co-regent, at least among the Hebrews, was Baal al Habait.
See, which translates to
Master over the house.
yes. See, this is where I think your understanding may be wrong. The Hebrew and Aramaic would not use what you had just said. Actually, how they would they wouldn't use a noun to describe a co-regent. It wasn't
They
until much
they
later.
they use it for the co-regent of Hezekiah, and it's even implicitly used of Joseph when he's the co-regent for Pharaoh. Are you familiar with Isaiah 22?
Isaiah 22. Let me pull it up.
Hilkiah was the co-regent of Hezekiah, and he was replaced with Shebna, and it refers to him as being one who is, quote, over the house. Ko amar Adonai Yahweh avot lecha bo al hasivchen chazeh al Shebna asher al habeit. The phrase al habeit is the title of the co-regent. He's called in the ancient Israel, they called them the Baal al-Habeit, master over the house or the palace.
You see, that's not true. How they would describe a co-regent is that they would describe him the son of king.
What I just read to you a passage in the original Hebrew. You're going to tell me that's not what it says? Do you speak Hebrew?
Yes.
Okay, then what is the proper term for a co-regent in Hebrew?
Just so I can give you direct text.
I mean, I just gave him a direct text, but, whatever, I guess. Fuck Isaiah, I suppose.
Hold on. Speak Hebrew to him. See if he can talk to you.
Yeah, Max?
Max, if you leave the screen, we cannot hear you.
Max.
Yep, I'm pulling up the text.
Max, ani lo Yehudi. Would you agree with that statement?
Max, come back.
Max, shalom. Ani lo Yehudi.
Max, if you leave the screen, we can't hear you. You gotta come back. We're not gonna have a conversation with you on Google the entire time.
I'm just in my car.
Max, listen, if you're not going to be present for the conversation, we're just going to move on. Max, if you do not come back and talk to me in the next 5 seconds, I'm going to drop you. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sorry, Max, you bullshitted with me, and then you had to go run to ChatGPT to see if you could confirm your beliefs. I pointed you to an actual passage where it refers to the co-regent of Hezekiah, Shebna, as one who was al-Habeit. But whatever. Fuck me, I guess. Heaven's Shadow. I'm going to ask you the same 3 questions we ask all of our guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18?
Yeah.
Question number 2, do you believe in the Bible?
I do.
And question number 3, what are your pronouns?
Oh. You can call me whatever. I'm just a he.
He? All right. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy.
I'm a guy.
Sure. Heaven, I'm the Bible guy. I don't believe in the Bible. Tell me, why should I believe in the Bible?
Well, I don't know yet. I don't know. I was really interested on why you don't.
Because the Bible has scientific and historical errors and internal contradictions and unfulfilled prophecy.
Okay.
And it's mean to women. It's just horrible to women. I just always like to tack that one on.
Okay. All right. Well, I wanted to see where your standpoint was, because it was an interesting topic. I didn't want to jump in the middle of it, but I couldn't get your attention in the chat. You have a lot of people, so I really appreciate you answering my question.
Well, do you have any reasons why I should believe in the Bible?
Well, I think everything happens when it should, as it should. I think he tells us that. And I think that he reveals things to you when they should be revealed to you.
So you're just shirking off the responsibility on God?
No. I'm just saying that right now in the season you're in, you're not seeing what you need to see.
I'm in the season
And
of
it's
fall
not my
right now.
job to tell you what your relationship with your dad is.
Actually,
You have
it
to-
is. Actually, Heaven,
No,
it
it's
is.
not.
It
No,
is
it's not.
because what does 1 Peter 3:15 say?
When your dad's lecturing you, bro. I'm
What
not
does
gonna
1
stand
Peter
up in the
3:15
middle.
say? Always
Peter
be
3
ready. Always be ready to give an answer for the hope that is within you.
Yeah, and I'm telling you my answer.
Do you have any
I
answers?
believe in the Bible, and I think it's the
Why?
right way.
Why?
But what I'm telling you right now is that I can't convince
Wha-
blind ears and deaf eyes. You know,
I'm
what
not
saying?
blind or
Deaf ears and
Heaven. I'm
blind
not
eyes.
blind or deaf. I probably know the Bible better than you do.
Okay, but the Bible isn't the knowledge; it's not the wisdom. All things
Actually,
of the Spirit have to be discerned through the
That's a,
Spirit.
that's
and if you
that's a
don't have
nice
it, I can't
that's
show
a
you, and
nice
I'm not
claim.
going to argue with you.
That's a nice little claim you got there. That I need the decoder ring of the Holy Spirit to understand things. It's a bullshit claim, and it's a very lazy way of debating.
I don't need to stand here and listen.
Then you don't need to. You can go away. If you want to run away, you're more than welcome to run
I'm
away.
not running. I gave you the truth. You don't like it.
No, you haven't given me any truth. You can't
You're not
demonstrate to
wearing
me
the
that's the
decoder ring,
truth.
so how-
You're not. You're not. All you've done is make
if you're not-
claims.
you don't have the code, then how do you know what it says?
All you've done is make claims.
You haven't looked at the reality of it.
I have.
Evan,
I have.
this is a lovely crash out for Jesus, but it's not convincing.
Yeah.
Okay,
Crash out for Jesus.
I don't have to convince you, and I don't need your validation. Is what I'm saying.
Okay. Then you don't need to be here, do you? If you're just here to fucking preach at me, listen, I could go to church and oh, he ran away. Anyways, I could just fucking go to church if I wanted someone to fucking preach at me. But I'm not looking for someone to preach at me. I'm looking for someone to give me the evidence. And you've basically just admitted to my audience here that you don't have any good reason to believe what you believe. So thank you for that. That was a wonderful little gift you gave for us. Fast crash out. Let's see. Yeah. Another you just need magic spirit argument. Yeah, it's the worst argument. I get it. Yeah.
I
All
love
right.
how H Rock, Rock, whatever, said that didn't know what it means and you're a glutton, but they can't even respond to someone. They have to accidentally respond to themselves, calling themselves bitter.
Oscar, I'm going to ask you the same three questions I ask all my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1: are you at least 18?
Yeah,
Are you a Bible believer?
I'm a Jesus believer, but yeah, confirmed by the Bible, so yes.
And what are your pronouns?
He, him, or you
All
can
right.
call me Oscar. I don't.
Sure. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. I don't believe in the Bible. I'll actually change the question a little bit just for you because you said you're a Jesus believer. Oscar, why should I think Jesus is the Messiah?
Well, that's a loaded question because there's a lot going on. By the way, nice to meet you. What's your name again?
Dalton, the Bible guy.
Dalton. Nice to meet you, man. So I'm not going to crash out at you. I'm just here to spread knowledge and share ideas because this is a conversation, right? This is not a debate. And so why should we believe that Jesus is the Messiah? Well, the first is that there is no the first thing that comes to mind is that there's no physical evidence that he's still here. So he is the Messiah, one, because
Well,
he has
is there,
fulfilled so many.
Oscar, is there any physical evidence that Alexander the Great is still here?
Right, but that doesn't necessarily. I mean, yeah, there is. I'm pretty sure there's his tomb.
We
There's-
don't
there's
have his
stories
body.
about.
How about
Right, but
Apollonius?
it's
How about Apollonius of Tyana, who his followers claimed he resurrected from the dead? Do we have any evidence of his grave?
But he didn't fulfill prophecies.
Neither did Jesus.
That's
Jesus didn't
Yeah,
fulfill
he
a
did.
single messianic prophecy. But if you think he did, I'd love to hear one at least.
Oof, there's a lot. So the biggest one is that he's the high priest, right? He's
That's
considered
not
the high priest.
that's not
And
prophesied.
He was no, but hold on. So he was mandated to be high priest by the order
Sure.
of Melchizedek.
Where is that prophesied in the
Melchizedek.
Hebrew Bible?
by the Hebrew Bible, do you mean like the Old Testament?
Mm-hmm.
I
Are you thinking of
believe
Psalm 110?
no, no. There's dude. It's because I would have to
There's only
pull my
two
Bible right now.
passages. There's only two passages in the entire Old
There's a
Testament that
passage
mention
in the New
Melchizedek.
Testament, right? There's
Yeah,
a
but
new. There's a,
yeah, the
go
New
ahead.
Testament is making the claim about a fulfillment of prophecy. I would like to see in the Hebrew Bible, the Old Testament, where Jesus fulfilled a prophecy.
There's a bunch. He was supposed to be born in. He was supposed to be born in. He was born in Bethlehem,
But the Hebrew
but
Bible
he
doesn't
was
prophesy the
supposed to.
Messiah will be born in Bethlehem.
Right? No, there was a dude. It's because the prophecies are very.
Vague.
No, not vague. It's they have to like sometimes, for example, we would talk about his first coming and then his second coming,
I
and
don't
that's
see
why, for
anything.
example,
I don't see any evidence in the Hebrew
Israelites.
Bible of there being two comings of the Messiah. But where does the Hebrew Bible prophesy the Messiah will be born in Bethlehem?
It says that it lists a specific region. So then, actually, one of the arguments that the Jews
Here,
that
I'll help you
crucified,
out. Micah 5:2 is the passage you're thinking of. But Micah 5:2 doesn't say the
right?
Messiah will
Because
be
you looked
born
it
in
up.
Bethlehem. It says, "But you, O Bethlehem Ephrathah, who are little to be among the clans of Judah, from you shall come forth to me one who is to be ruler in Israel, whose origin is from of old, from ancient days." It doesn't say anything about the Messiah being born there in Bethlehem. It just says that his going forth is from Bethlehem, which most likely probably means that his origin is in the Davidic dynasty because King David was born in Bethlehem.
Exactly. So you just answered the question. So that's one. That's one. But
But
there's a
the
ton.
the prophecy doesn't say the Messiah will be born in Bethlehem. Doesn't say anything about being born there.
It will come forth.
Yeah,
What
it
would
doesn't
that?
say
Well,
come forth from Bethlehem, as in
well,
from.
right. But that's
But
just
who?
semantics.
Well, no, because it's just as likely, and probably more likely, that what this passage of prophecy is referring to is that the Messiah's origins are in Bethlehem. Why? Because who was from Bethlehem originally?
David. Right.
And the Messiah is supposed to be a descendant of David. So when it says that his origins are from old, from ancient days, this isn't saying the Messiah is literally going to be born in Bethlehem or that he has to live in Bethlehem. It just means that his going forth is originally of Bethlehem, meaning that he's a descendant of King David, which we can't confirm that was true for Jesus.
Okay, but what we need to understand is, so I see what you're doing. Every reason that I give, for example, he resurrected from the dead, and he doesn't have a physical tomb, even though
Yeah, there was no tomb.
There was no burial. There was a burial ground. It's just he didn't. So if we're gonna talk about, as I said, it's a loaded question. There's a lot of points that Jesus checks the box when he's being
Like
crucified. For example, he
the Hebrew
says, "Oh
Bible
God,
never.
why have you forsaken me?"
A lot
And
of people
he's saying,
probably said so. He quoted the Psalms, but does that mean that the Psalms prophesied his crucifixion? No.
yeah, but it directly relates to Psalms because that it's specifically talking about that moment in time when
The,
they will
no,
they will
the Psalms aren't prophecies.
no well they contain prophecies because they're inspired from yes, I get it, it's a poetic book, but it's inspired from Samuel and the other prophets.
No, we don't know who wrote the Psalms.
Yes, we do. David wrote the Psalms, and
No,
among
David did
others.
not. David did not write the Psalms. If
Yes,
you
he
actually
did.
look, no, he didn't.
Go to Psalms 51. Who is he talking about?
Let's see,
He's
Psalm
talking about himself because
51.
he cheated on his wife. He killed
It says
one of his
what?
men.
What does what is the
Psalms 51.
opening?
Go to
What is
Psalms
this?
51.
Yeah, do you know what the first opening words of Psalm 51 are in the original Hebrew?
Go read them.
La manziach mizmor la David. Mizmor means psalm. Do you know what la David means?
I'm guessing it's from David. Yeah.
Not from David, no. That would be Mizmor mi David. No, it says Mizmor la David, which means a psalm for David or a psalm to David, as in David's not the author, he's the recipient of the psalm. The psalm was written by someone, we don't know who, for David's
That
benefit.
doesn't make any sense though, because the whole Psalms 51, it's a prayer. So how can I dedicate a prayer if I'm talking in first person?
Yeah,
What you just said doesn't
the
make
author
any sense.
the author of the psalm. Have you ever heard of this thing where like you'll have someone who sings a song, but just because they're singing a song doesn't mean that they're the author of the song? Like for example, what was her name? She was a very popular singer in the early 2000s, late 90s. Not Mariah Carey, but the other one, Ashlyn, who helped me out here.
I think you're translating it wrong. So it's
No,
to the
what-
to the choir master. And
Yeah,
it says
and-
that a lot throughout the
Yeah,
throughout
and
the
that
Psalms.
in the word for two, when it says to the choir master, what is the word for two in the Hebrew there?
Do you know who the choir master is though?
Yeah,
That's
it's the person.
mystery of
Is,
the Psalms.
no,
That's
the choir.
that's
The choir master is the person whose job it was to direct the choir of the temple.
Right, exactly. So that's where people
But guess
misinterpret
what?
that.
Just as it says to the choir master, la minaxiach, it says at the same time, Mizmor la David, a psalm
Right, a
for
psalm
David.
of David.
No, not of.
No,
it says
it's of.
Mizmor. No, it. Do you speak Hebrew, Oscar?
Dude, I'm telling you.
Do you speak
First of all,
Hebrew?
Why would David
What does-
he never pronounced himself the choir master? I don't know.
No,
we don't have to get
no.
into specifics.
Oscar. What does the preposition lamed mean in Hebrew?
Oh, I don't know Hebrew.
Okay, I do. The same exact preposition when it says to the choir master is the letter lamed, and it used that same preposition for David. Mizmor la David, a psalm for David. The Psalms never claim to be written by David. It only says a psalm of
Why the
David
repetition,
in your English Bible.
To the choir
for
master,
one
and then it says a psalm for David.
a psalm, yeah, for the
And then it
choir
says
master.
when Nathan the prophet. No, but you have to keep reading because it says when Nathan
Yeah, it's
the prophet
it's a
went
psalm for and about
after he had
David.
gone to
Yes.
into Bathsheba. Yeah.
Here, if you listen, I'll give an explanation for you. The Psalms were written for David and about David. In other words, they were meant to be sung by David. Not that he wrote them. They were about David's life and they were meant to be sung by him, but he's not the author. The Psalms never say a psalm of David in the original Hebrew. It sounds a psalm for David.
I disagree because
You don't speak Hebrew. I do. It literally says here, Mitzmor la David.
Well, I don't know what you're reading. You could be reading.
I'm reading
I
the
don't
original
know.
Hebrew.
I could. Well, I'm reading ESV, which is a translation of the Hebrew.
Well, which one should I trust, the ESV or the original Hebrew?
I don't know because I don't know what you're reading. If I could get off TikTok and research the actual Hebrew, then I could. But right now, I'm just trusting you.
Well,
you know, that
I'll
you're
just
reading.
tell you this
What-
then.
Cite-
It doesn't
cite-
say Psalm
cite
of David
what-
in the Hebrew.
Say what version you're reading.
I'm not reading a version. I'm reading the Hebrew,
From where? I just want to know the source.
the Masoretic text.
The Masoretic text, is that like a website or something?
No, it's it's the Hebrew manuscript.
Right, but there was
that
the Dead Sea Scrolls were they had repetition of everything. So it's like you can't just trust one source. There has to be multiple that confirm. So you're
Every
saying that
version of the
ESV
Psalms we
people,
have-
they just invented this.
every
like, no.
every version of the Psalms that we have has the preposition lamed before David's name.
Yeah, exactly.
Which means
so
two.
that means to the choir master, not
Yeah,
to David.
No. It says to the choir master, a psalm for David.
All right.
The same. Listen, do you think the letter lamed
Okay, but what-
suddenly
okay,
meant?
okay,
do you
hold
think the
on,
letter
hold on.
lamed meant something when we spoke
No,
about
no,
the
no,
choir
okay,
master,
so let's-
and then
let's
suddenly
zoom
it
out.
meant something different for David?
Okay. Just zoom out and okay. So what's the point of that? So
You made the claim that these were written by David. I'm just telling you that the Psalms don't actually say that.
right, but my whole point was that this was inspired. Okay, fine. I'll give
Can
you
you?
that. I'll give you
Are
that.
you able to? Are you able to
No, 'cause-
prove
it's 'cause
that they're
you're
inspired?
I know what you're doing. You're nitpicking my argument to the
Yeah, 'cause
to
I care about
most-
the truth.
to the most tangential point when the bigger
Because I
point
care
is
about the truth.
Jesus. Oh, me too. Exactly. You should seek the truth.
So what I see when I read the Psalms is that these are poems written by an unknown author for David. Sometimes they're for
But that's not the
Solomon.
point.
Sometimes
That's not the
sometimes
point.
for the choir master, and they don't seem and they speak about past tense events. For example, if I read Psalm 22, okay, just a quick test to make sure that you're
Can I say
going
my
to be
point? Because
honest.
people are asking what my point is. My point
Yeah,
is
we'll get to that in a second. We'll
these
get to that in a
psalms
second,
were
Oscar.
inspired. Okay, fine. They weren't written
Okay,
by
were
David.
they written in future tense or past
Okay,
tense?
fine. That's not the point. The point is
No, it is.
this
It is the
was
point.
old text
No,
inspired
Oscar,
from.
Oscar.
Oh my gosh! You don't let me finish my point,
Do you
man.
know the? Because I'm trying to get something across to you that you don't seem to understand. Why did I ask you if the Psalms were written past tense or future tense?
They were written. I believe they were written. Well, it depends. It depends. Some are written present tense. Some are written past tense, and some actually. It's not that they prophesy, but they talk about the God coming for justice with wrath. Is an example.
Sometimes they
So
talk about God
it's
bringing
present,
justice and
past,
wrath.
future.
A lot of the
It's
Psalms
all
are going to
three.
be praises to God or complaints to God,
Prayers.
or there will be
Right.
Psalms which are meant to exalt
Yeah.
King David or King
Correct.
Solomon, and that's all we find in the Psalms.
No, that
Nothing about
I don't
Jesus.
think, dude. I can literally go to Psalms. You can go. Let's go one by one. I've
Sure,
read some.
I'll entertain this. What Psalm speaks about Jesus?
May I ask a question, Oscar?
Go
Why
ahead.
is it that the people that whose ancestry is from the people that wrote this, the Jewish people who speak Hebrew their entire life, disagree with your interpretation on this?
I'm sorry. Say that again.
Yeah, like Jewish people who grew up speaking Hebrew, who studied the Hebrew Bible, they
They
seem
don't
to.
believe in the same God that we do now.
Yes, they
If
do.
you're talking about
Yes, they
modern
do.
day,
They believe in
no,
the same God that you
you
believe in,
don't want to go
Oscar.
there. You don't want to go
Oscar,
there.
you're not about to engage in a silly conspiracy theory, are you?
It's no conspiracy theory. It's
Do they
biblical.
do they believe in Yahweh?
Who? First of all, we have to define who is they.
The Jewish people. Oh, this is
No,
about to get into
who's
some
no, no,
really.
no, 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 no.
This is
Hold
about to
on,
get into
hold
some
on. No,
really
no, no.
serious,
Hold on.
silly territory.
Who's
Are you about
they?
to Are you about to make the claim that the Jewish people of today
Don't
aren't
put words in
real
my mouth. I
Jews?
have not made my
I'm
claim.
asking.
I'm
I'm
asking
asking.
you.
No, I'm not putting words in your mouth. I'm asking you a question, and then we'll find out what you believe. Oscar, do you believe that the modern day Jewish people aren't of the ancient Israelites? Do you believe that? You can unmute yourself.
Do I believe what?
Do you believe that the modern day Jewish people are not actually the descendants of the ancient Israelites?
No, they're not.
Oh,
Jesus made the
Oscar,
distinction.
you
No.
sweet
Oscar,
summer child.
nothing.
Oscar,
Let's
what's
get
the
into
evidence
it.
of this?
If you let me, yeah, well, you can go to Matthew 10.
And why should I care what Matthew says?
Oh
Who
my
wrote?
gosh!
We don't even know.
This is exactly
Also,
what you do.
well,
I
I'll
can't-
entertain you for a
What's our
second, but
premise?
none
What's
of the
our
Gospels
premise?
ever make the claim. None of the Gospels ever make the claim that the Jewish people aren't actually Jewish people.
Look at this. The
is gonna
historical
be good.
context behind it is this.
Which
It says-
verse? I'm going to read it for myself.
Hold on.
Matthew 10, verse what?
Hold on, if you give me 2 seconds. Okay, it's in 5. So it says, I'm
Matthew
reading New King
5?
James.
Or verse
it says,
5?
These 12 Jesus
Sent
Matthew
out
chapter
these.
10, verse
The
5.
King James version
Sent
sucks
out and
ass.
commanded
But
them, saying,
these 12 Jesus sent out, charging them, go nowhere among the Gentiles, and enter no town of the Samaritans, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Where does
Pause.
this say that the
Okay.
Jewish people aren't the Jewish people?
There's a clear distinction between 3 people. Let me.
Do you know what the
let
house
me
of Israel
finish,
is?
dude? You don't. Okay, I cannot engage in a conversation when I
Oscar,
get
stop being a
interrupted.
baby. Now,
You-
do you know who that?
you
Do you know
keep-
who the house?
So
do
you
you know
mute
who
me,
the house?
you interrupt me, and I
Do you
can't say
know
my
who the
point.
house? Do you know who the house of Israel is?
Right, that's where I'm getting at. It's naming 3 people. It's naming Gentiles, Samaritans, and the house of Israel. Samaritans in Israel have the same ethnic background because when
Correct.
Solomon, in the time of Solomon, there was a split between Hebrews, the Hebrews, right? The descendants of Jacob, right? from the 12 tribes. That
Uh-huh.
separation meant that they were all what? They were all Israelites, quote unquote. But now, after that separation, they separate. So then there's a clear distinction now between Samaritans and the house of Israel that Jesus is saying here. Now, if you go to Romans,
Why are we
Chapter
jumping to
9.
Romans? I
It
thought we were
says
talking
that-
about Matthew.
right, just hear me out. Let me cook, bro.
Do you know what? Okay. Before we go on this whole tangential, what do you think it means when we say that the Jewish people are actual Jewish people? What do you think that means?
Well, first of all, are you saying the people of God, or only the people of God?
I'm not interested in who you think the people of God are. I'm only interested in whether or not the Jewish people that we have today are the descendants of the ancient Israelites from the first
Ethnically
century
or
CE.
spiritually? Ethnically, or
Ethnically,
spiritually?
ethnically, because spiritually means nothing to me.
Well, spiritually is through Jesus.
Yeah,
If
I don't buy that.
the only look, and I'm gonna. I think I'm.
You're
I think
teaching.
my point
You're
is to
doing
elaborate for you to
replacement.
understand.
You're doing.
make
I
it-
understand. I understand. You're doing replacement theology. I don't
It's
give
not
a shit.
replacement Theology. It's
It
not.
is because you think that
It's
you're
not.
replacing the ethnically Jewish people as
I'm
God's
not
people.
replacing anyone. Look what Romans 9 says.
I'm aware of what Romans 9 talks about.
What does it talk about?
It talks about how some of the Jewish people, that there's a small remnant of people who remain faithful to God, and that the rest of them have gone away until the time that the fullness of the Gentiles are
Wrong.
brought in.
That's not what.
No,
I'm
it's
saying.
not wrong. This is the whole
That's
point
not what I'm.
of
That's not
Romans
my
chapter.
point. You try to guess it.
That's the point of Romans chapter 9 through 11 is Paul talking about why it is that the majority of Jewish people don't believe anymore, and he talks about how there is a righteous remnant today who still remain faithful to God, but that God has allowed this for the time so that the Gentiles could come in and be blessed.
Romans 9:6 says, "But it is not the word of God has taken no effect, for they are not all Israel who are of Israel." Where do you get lost?
Yeah, why
there?
should I?
For they are
Why
not
should I care?
all Israel
Why
who
should I
are
care
of
what Paul
Israel.
believed?
Nor,
Why should I care what Paul believed?
oh my gosh, because Paul was a direct apostle from Jesus, and
No, he wasn't.
literally- Yes, he was.
He was a
Never
guy who had a vision.
The only person exactly.
He never
only
claims
person-
to have met Jesus in person ever, not once.
Well, of course, because Jesus ascended, but the spirit of Jesus was always there, and that's
Well,
the whole
I mean,
point
Paul
of the Bible.
Paul can't even read Hebrew. Why should I take what Paul said? Paul says for
Excuse me?
shit.
He was a Jew, descendant
yeah,
of the house of David.
Okay, I'll say
Benjamin.
this: he either couldn't speak Hebrew,
No.
or he was,
Now you have to back down on it.
yeah, I'm about to
I got
back
you
it up.
there.
I'm about to back it up. If you shut the fuck up for 5 seconds, Paul
Okay,
either
no need
couldn't
to
speak
curse,
Hebrew.
man.
Paul
don't
either
have to
couldn't
do
speak
this.
Hebrew. No one can hear you while I'm talking. Paul can either doesn't speak Hebrew or he's being purposefully deceptive. Now, are you familiar with Paul's teaching in Galatians 3 on the seed versus the seeds?
Yeah.
Okay,
Elaborate.
what point did Paul try to make from that? What grammatical
I don't know,
point did he
you
make?
tell me. You tell me. You're the one talking.
Paul
man. I
Paul
don't
makes the
interrupt.
claim that the Pentateuch says seed and not seeds as in many, but seed referring to Christ. That was his point, right?
Yes.
Wouldn't Paul know that in Hebrew there is no word for seeds? And that if you're referring to a collective, it's always just seed?
Correct, because they were talking in Greek, so there must have been a disconnect between languages.
But even in the Greek even in the Greek translation, it's always in the singular, even referring to multiple people.
What Greek word is that? You just said that he says seed.
Sperma.
And there's no
Sperma.
Hebrew word for seed.
No, in Hebrew there's a word for seed, but the word for seed in Hebrew is never, there's no plural form of it. Whether or not you're referring to a singular seed or a multiple seed, it's always in the singular, the Hebrew word
I
zerah.
think you're nitpicking. Okay, if we're gonna talk about that,
No.
I think you're nitpicking it. Because
No,
if
I'm not
if you translate,
nitpicking.
for example, if I translate from English to, I'm sorry, from Spanish, I'm trying to make my point here. From English to Spanish, Spanish has like pronouns for
Well,
things.
the
So
problem
if
is,
I say,
Oscar.
for example, the TV as a female.
Yeah, the
can't
problem,
say, oh,
Oscar,
but la tele,
the problem,
for example. You're saying
Oscar,
la televisión.
the problem, Oscar,
You just
is that
fucking
even
interrupt.
in the Greek Septuagint, the Greek translation of the Torah that the Jews would have had, that Paul would have used, even when it's referring to a singular seed or multiple seed in the Greek, it always uses the singular sperma, never the plural.
I still want to know why he really doesn't think that Jewish people are the descendants
I
of.
believe.
Well, because he thinks that they're spiritually blinded. They have a veil over their eyes, which was just Paul's way of coping with the fact that his arguments were shit.
That's so terrible.
I agree, it is terrible
No, you
that Paul did that.
you just summarized something so
You honestly don't believe the people that grow up speaking Hebrew and studying their book are just spiritually blinded, that every single one of them don't. You just know more of them, Oscar, because God has blessed you with some almighty.
How many times has God cursed them, and Jesus has cursed them, and throughout in the Old Testament as well?
He also blessed
For
them,
example,
and,
when
and he made
Moses-
the claim that until
Yes,
heaven.
exactly.
And
But
did God
listen,
make the claim that
that's
heaven?
not the
that
point.
did God
It's
make
not
the? That, no, it is the point, Oscar.
That's not the
because
point.
you're
The point
ignoring
is
what
that-
the. You're ignoring what the Hebrew Bible explicitly says about the Jewish people. God explicitly states that heaven and earth would sooner pass away before he would forget them.
Answer this question: what is the point of God choosing those people?
To be a kingdom of priests and a holy nation, according to Exodus chapter 19, verse 6. I have made you a kingdom of peace. No, I'm going to read the text.
No, I know.
It says in Exodus chapter 19, verse 6, I have made you a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. That's what their whole purpose was.
Exactly. So the whole point of it was, since you don't want to admit it, but it's Jesus. So
No.
the whole covenant of yes,
No,
that-
you're not. Okay, point to me a passage in the Hebrew Bible. Pretend that me and you are like some. I pretend I'm a Jewish person that doesn't believe in
it's
your
the first
Jesus.
thing. Go to Genesis chapter 3.
And
Oh
just
no,
for that
not
last-
not Genesis
just for that-
3:15.
The last point, I'm going to tell you that in the text it says when the Most High appointed the nation who's divided humankind, he fixed the boundaries of his people according to the number of gods. The Lord's own portion were his people. Jacob his allotted to share. Jacob, the God, like meaning the Israel, where the Yahweh was their God. So according to the text, there were like multiple gods, and it just so happened that Yahweh in Deuteronomy, specifically 32, 8 through 10, or 8 through 9, it's just telling us that Yahweh was these specific people's gods, and then it just turns into this bigger thing, because the Bible is written from the perspective, or the Torah, excuse me, and the Tanakh are written from the perspective of the ancient Israelites. Of course, it's going to be all about them.
Yeah, Oscar, you don't think Genesis 3:15 is actually a prophecy about Jesus, do you? Not really.
I do. It says, I will put
Oh.
enmity between you and the woman, and between your
Mhm.
seed and her seed. He shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel.
Yeah, this looks to me like it's just talking about the enmity between humans and snakes. Nothing more.
But why is he talking about he? Why isn't it saying
Yeah,
they?
yeah. Sometimes a collective can be referred to as a he. For example, when we read Exodus chapter 4, verse 22, God refers to the nation of Israel, the entire nation of Israel, as a
that's
no.
linguistic gymnastics. That's what.
No, it's not. This is how
You're manipulating your
Oscar,
interpretation.
Oscar.
That's
You
what
don't
it
get to
is.
you don't get to weaponize your ignorance. So it says in Exodus 4. Yes or no, Oscar? Does Exodus 4:22 refer to the entire nation of Israel as a he and a him? Yes or no?
I don't know. Let's read it. Exodus 4.
Yeah, verse
I'm
22.
No, it's okay.
This is so sad. Don't tell me that. That's gross. Let's see.
Huh? How's that
Yeah.
gross? Chat, are you
I
guys
don't, you
hearing
don't
this?
you don't know me. Don't tell me you love me. It's weird. Anyway, shh.
So what do you
And
think?
you shall say to Pharaoh, thus saith Yahweh, Israel is my firstborn son, and I say to you, let my son go that he may serve me. Who's the he here?
I'm sorry. I was still looking for it. Exodus 3. You said what? What verse?
Exodus 4, chapter 22, chapter 4, verses 22 through 23.
And then the Lord. Oh, I have it highlighted here. And the Lord said to Moses, "When you go back to Egypt, see that you do all those wonders before Pharaoh."
22 to 23.
Okay, then you shall say to Pharaoh, "Thus says my Lord, Israel is my son, my firstborn."
And verse
I
23.
So I say to you, let my son go, that he may serve me. But if
Who's
you
the-
refuse,
Who's the he?
it's talking about Jesus.
No, my God, your reading comprehension is so shit. What did the verse previous to this say?
Because you're
Who is
reading it
God's-
literally.
Yeah, you're right.
reading it
I'm not.
literally.
You're right. I'm reading what it plainly says, and I'm not reading shit into the text that's not there.
Okay, let's go to Exodus 11:9.
Oh my God.
Let's go to Exodus 11:9. Because this is
Sure, but I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to read it for what it only plainly says, and I'm not going to let
But
you
the
read
Lord
things
said to
into it.
Moses, Pharaoh will not heed you, so that my wonders will be multiplied. So Moses, and then
What does this have to do with the word he in Exodus 4:22?
It was a direct commandment, and he could have talked about Israel there, but he didn't.
He did in Exodus 4:22.
No,
You
but he could have
dingus.
said God says that it's his son, and it's dude.
He did. He did. He calls Israel his firstborn son. You cannot be this obtuse, Oscar.
Thus, or then you shall say to the Pharaoh, thus says the Lord. Who is the Lord, Oscar?
Yahweh, yeah.
Is Rachel my firstborn son? I said to you, let my son go that he may serve me.
So you're saying that the nation of Israel is the firstborn of God? That's the
According to
claim you're
Exodus,
making?
yes. Yes, according to
Well-
Exodus.
Okay, but then so let's fast forward in history. So after
great.
the Israelites get out of Egypt, then the Lord commands, "I will give you the angel of the Lord," and it talks about the angel of the Lord. That's literally Jesus.
Yeah, no, that's just an angel.
No, it's Jesus.
No, it's not. It's just an angel. I don't remember reading anything about Jesus in that
No,
passage.
because it's
Exodus
not just an
23
angel.
speaks about it's just an well, you're right. It's
No,
an angel
because-
that bears the name of God. That's just a typical motif.
But no other
within
angel does that.
That's not true. Yehoel does that.
It-
Yehoel does that.
Where's Yehoel?
It's in the work of the Testament of Abraham. I get that you're not familiar with ancient Jewish works, but the concept of an angel that is the name bearer of God within Jewish angelology, especially in the first century, was quite common. The idea among them was that angels like Yehoel or even angels like the Metatron were angels that could bear God's name, and God's name served as a communicable vehicle of divine authority. That by placing his name upon an angel, he thus transferred to the angel divine authority to do things like, for example, forgive sin or to withhold forgiveness.
Okay, give me a verse where it talks about Yehoel.
It's in the Testament of Abraham.
The book?
The Testament of Abraham, yes.
Is that a book? Well, I don't think that's part of the canonic Bible.
Well, what you consider canonical is irrelevant because canon is just the invisible, arbitrary line that Christians wrap around what books they like and what books they don't like. But many Jewish people, this was a book that Jewish people wrote in the first century and that they liked, and it's very similar to the concept of the Metatron in Third Enoch.
Okay, so is there a verse or something from that book of Abraham that you're saying, the Testament of Abraham?
That mentions Yehoel?
Yeah.
Sure, I can probably find it for you. Let's see. Do you have a copy on you?
Maybe not.
So why are you asking for the source?
Because I just want to read it. I want to hear exactly what it says.
Right. Let's see.
This is also for my own, benefit. I want to learn.
It's in chapter 10. It's in chapter 10 of the Testament of Abraham. It mentions an angel called. In some translations, it'll say Jael. In other translations, it'll say Yaoel or
angel of the Lord.
It is. It's meant to be the angel of the Lord.
Exactly. So that's my point. There's
The
only
angel.
one.
It's just an angel. It's
Okay,
just an angel.
Can I just finish my sentence?
Sure.
If it's an angel of the Lord,
Mhm.
angels for example, Angel Gabriel, right? He never when people try to bow down before other angels, and the angel does not accept people bowing down because they say, "I am just a
Where?
messenger."
Yeah. So
But when it comes to the angel of the Lord specifically, he says, "I am God. I am the
well,
Lord."
no, he speaks. He speaks for
So
God.
then-
He speaks as the messenger of God. It's called the law of shaliach. That
No,
an
no, but
agent
there's a difference.
an agent can speak as if he is the person who is sending him. You
No, man.
by the way, you are aware
why
that
wouldn't other
people
angels do that?
you are aware that you can bow down before people that aren't God in the Bible, and it's completely okay, right?
Say that again.
You can bow down to things that aren't God Himself, and it not be considered like idolatry in the Hebrew Bible.
Please enlighten me.
Yeah, Solomon.
What's the Ten Commandments? Oh, Solomon did atrocious things in it.
No.
Terrible.
Prior to his falling away, at his coronation. Are you familiar? Are you familiar with the coronation of Solomon?
I was waiting for you to finish your sentence.
So the people of Israel bowed down and did obeisance to Solomon and to Yahweh. Why? Because the text says that Solomon sat on the throne of Yahweh.
Right. But just bending the knee in front of someone doesn't mean that you're committing sin. The sin behind it is that you're worshiping it. So these
What do you
people,
think? What do you think worship means? If the Hebrew word is worship.
and they were gonna bow down. They were gonna worship that person.
Yeah,
You
the
take
Hebrew
knee
word
for
used for
someone.
the bow down is the Hebrew word for worship.
I took the knee for my wife. Does that mean I'm committing adultery?
No,
Idolatry?
but you're not. No, but the people of Israel worshipped Solomon.
No, that's
It uses the Hebrew word for worship.
well, worship. It could have different meanings. I could worship you right now. Like you're very knowledgeable. I'm worshiping you right now. You're a well intelligent being. That's I'm worshiping you, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I am worshiping you with a capital W as if I
There
was
are no
worshiping.
capital W's in Hebrew.
No, I'm just saying. You know what I mean.
And there's no distinction made in the Hebrew.
The chat is fighting, and I love it.
Ignore the chat. So why should I think the angel of the Lord is anything other than an angel?
As I said, there's a clear distinction and other distinctions when it talks about a simple angel and the angel of the Lord.
Because the angel of the Lord speaks on behalf of Yahweh?
No, they all speak on behalf of Yahweh.
Yeah, but do you know what the law of agency is?
Another tangent. Here we go. What?
No, this is not a tangent. This is directly related to the topic. Agency, or the law of shaliach, within a Jewish framework, is when an individual called the agent is sent on behalf of the sender, and when they do so, they can speak on behalf of the sender, as if they are the sender.
Right, but you're talking about their language and the way they address themselves. But if someone bows down, why would it matter if they bow down or not?
Yeah, you can bow down before an angel,
Right.
so long as you
Let's
don't
say-
believe the
let's
angel is
say-
Yahweh himself.
Hold on. Let's say we are the nation of Japan, and they bow their head, right, every time. If I'm on behalf of Japan, there's two messengers. One that specifically says, "Hey, don't bow down because you're not Japanese. You don't do that." And another one doesn't care. Then that means there's a disconnection there. There's a distinction. That's the distinction I'm making. There's a distinction between. Why would it matter if they bow down or not? There's one angel that rejects anyone bowing down to them, and there's one
Where
that,
does the text of the Bible
law
declare
of
that the
agency
angel
has
of the
nothing
Lord
to do
is
with
Yahweh himself, as opposed to just speaking for Yahweh?
say that again.
Where does the text of the Bible indicate that the angel is himself Yahweh, as opposed to him just speaking on behalf of Yahweh as an agent?
Give me a second.
And take note that even if the angel refers to himself in the first person as God, that doesn't.
Exodus 23:20.
Yeah, that doesn't say that the angel is Yahweh.
I send an angel before you to keep you in the way and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Be aware of him and obey his voice. Do not provoke him, for he will not pardon your transgression. For for my name is in him.
Uh
He's
huh.
saying for my name is in him.
Yeah.
But if you
He's the
indeed obey his words,
he's a
then all
bearer
that
of the
is I will
he's a
do.
bearer of the divine name, because the divine name is serves as a communicable vehicle for divine agency.
Say that again.
The divine name serves as a communicable vehicle for divine agency.
I don't see Yahweh sending another angel saying my name
He's
is
doing it right
in
now.
him.
Yeah, Exodus 23.
But that's the only angel that he's talking about, which is Jesus.
No, it's not Jesus.
No, but list. So you know more than me about like the Bible, like textually, you know better, right? So list another instance in where Yahweh sends another angel in His name. That same specific sentence. There isn't.
Oh, the
That's
same
why-
specific.
that's
No,
why
you
there's
don't.
only one
It's
angel,
the same.
and that's the
Yeah.
angel.
In your canon of Bible, you won't find it ever again. But Yehoel in the Testament of Abraham, chapter 10,
We just said
and of course,
Yehoel
and
is
of course,
the same angel here.
yeah,
that
it's
talking
intended
about.
to. It's intended to be the same angel.
Exactly. So you just proved my point.
No, all I've said is
Yeah, you
you're saying
did.
where does more than one angel is what you're wanting to look at. Like, do multiple angels
We're
get
still
to
talking
be
about
bearers?
the same angel. The
Are you
angel
are
of the promise.
are you asking whether or not multiple angels have ever
List
bore the divine
another
name?
angel sent by the
Yeah,
Lord.
there's only one angel that gets to be the divine bearer of the name.
Exactly.
So what? So what?
So, for example, the angel that was sent to, for example, Mary, did not do that. There's
Sure,
angels
because he's
throughout
not
the Old Testament.
sure because he's not one who bears the divine name. Are you saying that only because is your claim that because there's only one angel that bears the divine name, that therefore it is Jesus? Is that really your argument?
Yes,
That's a shit argument.
that's a
That's
great
leap.
argument.
That's what we call
That's
a
a
leap
great
in
argument. Thank you.
No,
Matt.
that's what we call a leap in logic.
That's not a leap in logic. That's
Why should
literally
I
the same
why should I think that the angel is Jesus as opposed to just a unique angel?
Because if my father sends me and I have my last name, for example, is Martinez, and
God.
he's sending his son to another person, right? And it's his son. He's gonna say in his name because my last name is Martinez. We're both Martinez.
That's
But
not
if
that's
he
and
sends-
that's not
but if he
analogous
sends
whatsoever
his
to the
friend-
that's not
if he sends his
analogous
friend or his
whatsoever to
cousin,
the angel in Exodus 23.
You're just
It's not a family name that's being passed on to the angel. It's just a name which is bestowed upon the angel. It's not even a surname, it's just the divine name.
No, in his name. It's saying that's what it's saying.
Yeah, my name is in him.
My name is in him. Yeah. What does that
Yeah,
mean?
Yeah, it means that he's the possessor of the divine
Why didn't
name.
he say he will bear my name?
Well, that's the
That
same
would prove
phrase.
more your point.
No,
would prove
no. If the name is in him, then he's bearing the name.
Whatever. Just list another time where.
Okay.
where
Do you
he
have?
says-
Okay. You're obviously not going to get anywhere with this, and they're going
No,
in
you're not
circles.
gonna get anywhere
Do you
with
have
this,
an
man.
actual? Do you have an actual
You're literally
prophecy?
nowhere with this.
Do you
You
have an
can't
actual?
list
Do you have an
anywhere.
actual prophecy that Jesus fulfilled?
Now let's backtrack to that. Right after your tangent didn't work.
Master, your tangent didn't work.
And
Nice
I'm gonna
try.
discuss you. I'm gonna tell you I love.
No, you're not going to tell me you love me. Listen, you can either give me a Bible passage that Jesus actually fulfilled in the Hebrew Bible, or you can go, because you're very stubborn and we're not able to make any headway. So I need you to actually provide me with a passage that Jesus actually fulfilled, an actual prophecy about the Messiah that Jesus actually fulfilled. You can unmute yourself.
I think you're stubborn, man.
Whatever you say. Do you have an actual prophecy for us?
I'm looking for it. There's a bunch. I have not read the Old Testament. I need to read this.
Christians never read the Old Testament, and that's the biggest problem. It's one of the reasons why y'all are Christians, because y'all haven't actually read your Bible.
I
Wait,
agree.
wait. So Jewish people who like literally study this.
Okay, can we not go on that tangent? Is your name?
No,
Ash?
it's important. No, she's making a good point, Oscar. Is that Jewish people actually read this book and they speak the original
I'm flipping
language,
through my
and
Bible, and
you
I'm trying to
you
answer
haven't
two
read this
questions.
book and you don't speak the language yet. You're so sure that you're right and the Jews are wrong.
I'm getting so hated on today for just making points.
No, Ash. I'm more than I do want to talk about what you're saying, but he's also making another question. So what should I answer? You guys.
No, this point is directly related to what I said. Like she's making the point that listen, you're over here like,
Oh, it's
well,
a
I haven't
follow-up.
read,
Not the
I haven't
follow-up.
read the Hebrew
Follow-up.
Bible, but you're so sure Jesus fulfilled prophecy.
Yeah, it was literally directly related. Like these individuals literally only study the Torah and the Tanakh. Generally speaking, later on they study the Talmud. But like, and they know the Hebrew language, and they don't believe this. But yet, someone up here who claims that Jesus is all these things in the Old Testament, who doesn't speak the original language, and also now is letting us know that he's never even read the Old Testament. Why should we believe you, Oscar? It doesn't seem like you're well studied in it.
When you leave the screen, Oscar, I will not be able to hear you.
What do you mean? Can you hear me now? I think I cut off.
Yeah.
Okay. What was the question again?
I know I'm just a woman, Oscar, but I'll repeat it for you. Yeah.
It's the woman.
Individuals.
The creation of God.
No. According to the text, I'm not worth my weight in salt. So
That's not true.
yeah, when it says you can stone me for all sorts of reasons, I disbelieve you. No, when individuals who grow up Jewish, who learn Hebrew, who speak Hebrew fluently, and study the Old Testament, don't believe you, and here and now you are admitting that you've never even read the Old Testament.
I did read the Old
Why?
Testament. I did. It's just piecemealed, and it's not. And right now, you caught me off guard because the whole point of this live is why should I believe in the Bible? And I was preparing my points for that, and then we changed the subject to proving the messianic prophecies of Jesus.
Yeah, that's part of it. Yeah, that's part of it. That's why I don't believe in the New Testament, because the authors of the New Testament often misquote the Hebrew Bible, take it out of context, or mistranslate in order to make Jesus appear as if he fulfills prophecy.
Okay, let's go to John 1:1. Let's start there.
Sure. What does John 1:1 say in the original Greek? Because it doesn't say, and the word was God in the original Greek.
Well, what does it say?
It says, in arche in hologos, kai hologos in prostontheon, kai theos in hologos. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with the God, using the definite article to refer to the God of Israel. Kai theos in hologos, and divine was the Word.
You just said, and divine was the word.
Yeah, divine. There's more to divinity than just God. Archangels were considered divine.
No, but that's relativizing the point. The point is it's talking about the Messiah. It's talking about
you're pointing me to a New Testament passage that's about, sure, the passage is about Jesus. That's true, because we're reading the Gospel of John.
Right.
That's-
No,
yeah.
but you're saying it.
Why
you're
did you bring us to
nitpicking.
the New
You're saying-
Testament?
Because I'm trying to reference it back to the prophecies. What I'm saying. So
Could you
Isaiah
point me to
49:6. Isaiah 49:6.
Isaiah 49. Okay, good. Here we go. Isaiah 49. Is Isaiah 49 written in first person?
Indeed, he says no. It's not.
Let's see.
It's quotations. So it talks.
And now
it's
Yahweh
directly
says,
quoting.
and now Yahweh says, who formed me in the womb to be a servant. Do you understand what a first person pronoun is?
Yeah.
If I write to you a letter and I say to you that Yahweh has formed me in the womb to be a servant, who am I talking about?
Say that again.
If I write to you a letter and I say to you that Yahweh, and now Yahweh says, who formed me in the womb. When I say me, who am I talking about?
But he's quoting what Yahweh's telling him.
Well, not in this line. Not in this line.
Indeed, Yahweh says, comma, it is too small a thing that you should be my servant to raise up to my stars.
Who's Yahweh speaking to in the context?
He's talking to him, to Isaiah, right?
Yeah, so this isn't about Jesus. This is about the prophet.
Right, but then you read 7, it says, thus says the Lord, the Redeemer of Israel, their Holy One, to him who man despises, That's already that to him
To one
him
deeply
who man
despised, abhorred
despises.
by the
That's
nations.
already a prophecy.
Yeah, this
Despised.
no, this
But
is
it's
about
past,
Israel and the prophet.
past tense. It says despised.
Yeah,
It's
to one
talking
deeply
about
despised.
it's directly talking about the Redeemer of Israel.
No, there's nothing. No, the Redeemer of Israel is Yahweh, and then he's also speaking about the
No,
prophet.
yeah, you're right. It's Jesus. Jesus is
No,
God.
No, 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 not Jesus.
Yes,
Listen
yes,
very
yes,
close.
yes.
No,
The
Oscar,
Redeemer
listen
of
very
Israel.
no, listen very closely. It's referred to Yahweh, who is the Redeemer of Israel, and His Holy One. And who's the
Exactly.
Holy? And the Holy One here
Jesus
is referring to the
a
prophet.
messenger of God.
It's
That's why
referring
it
to.
says
It's
the Word
referring to
was with
Isaiah.
God.
It's referring to Isaiah.
No, it's the so he's the Isaiah is the Redeemer of Israel.
No, no, he's the Holy One referred to after the Redeemer.
No. Thus says the Lord, the Redeemer of Israel, comma, their Holy One, to him whom man despises, to him whom the nation abhors. They
No,
weren't.
no,
They
no.
were. They weren't abhorring.
Here, let me actually. I'm going to look at the actual Hebrew.
No, it says, no, it
One
says,
second.
thus says, it
One
says
second,
thus
everybody. I'm going to look at the actual Hebrew here. Ko amach Yahweh goel Yisrael kidosho. Oh yeah, it doesn't even say and His Holy One. It's just referring to Yahweh as the Redeemer and the Holy One. But that's just Yahweh. That's not Jesus. The one who's deeply despised is referring to the Jewish people and the prophet.
Right, because then to the servant of the rulers, and it says, "Kings shall see and arise; princes also shall." Because this is directly
Prostrate themselves before you because
Because of
Yahweh,
the
who is
Lord who is
faithful,
faithful,
the Holy One of
and He
Israel,
has
who has chosen you. Yeah, it's referring to the nation of Israel.
Right. So God chose Israel to protect and bear His seed, which is His son.
No, that's not in the
Jesus.
text. No, you're inserting
Yes.
things that aren't there now. Let's
No,
not.
I'm-
Listen, Oscar, I'm going to make this very clear to you if it hasn't become already apparent. I don't like adding things into the text that aren't there. I only listen to what the text says. It says, "Thus saith Yahweh, the Redeemer, and the Holy One, to one deeply despised." He's speaking now to one who's deeply despised. This is the nation of Israel, abhorred by the nations. The kingdom of Israel is abhorred by the nations. The servant of rulers, that was Israel. King shall arise, princes, and they shall prostrate themselves, because Yahweh, who is faithful, the Holy One, has chosen you. He's describing how the kings of the world will prostrate themselves before the people of Israel.
That's wrong.
No, this is actually mentioned elsewhere in this book of 2nd Isaiah.
Where?
Here, let me pull up the passage right now. Let's see.
It literally says abhorred by the nation.
One second, Sonny. One second.
You're just doing word linguistic.
No, I'm not doing word gymnastics. We're
yes,
actually just
you are.
reading.
It says the one
You can
deeply
admit it.
I know.
No,
Listen,
it says the
Oscar, you don't
one-
like the Bible. I get it. Chill out,
It
bud.
You can admit it, just like you're.
Hold on, Oscar.
Oscar, shush.
Oscar.
When I say I love you,
Oscar, shush.
It says the one deeply despised, comma, abhorred by the nation. So it's talking in past tense. It's literally
See.
past tense.
It's actually Isaiah chapter 60 is where it refers to the nations would come and bow down before Israel. So Isaiah chapter 60, it says, "Foreigners shall build up your walls." Who is he speaking about here? Before I continue, whose walls?
let me get to it, man. Hold on. I have a
Foreigners shall build up your walls, and their king shall minister to you.
Not
For in my
following.
wrath I smote you, but in my favor I have mercy upon you.
Okay, I did not follow because I said chapter 60, verse what?
Verse 10.
Okay, first of all, that chapter is talking about Gentiles blessing Zion.
Yeah. And what does it say about them? It says that that the nations would do what? They would bow down to them. The sons of those who oppressed you shall come bending low to you, and all who despised you shall bow
That's talking
down
about
at
the
your
second
feet.
coming.
No,
The
no, it's
second
not.
coming
It's about the nation of Israel. It says again.
That's
Notice that in
that's
the previous
problem
passage
with-
that you
with-
spoke about in Isaiah chapter 49, it spoke about one who was despised and that the nations would bow down to. This passage is telling us It's about the nation of Israel. The sons of those who oppressed you shall come bending low to you, and all who despised you shall bow down at your feet. They shall call you the city of Yahweh, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel. So who is being spoken about in Isaiah 49? It's Israel.
But that's for the second coming of Jesus. That's
It
not
doesn't
for-
say anything. It doesn't say anything. Again,
Well, obviously,
Oscar.
but-
I don't.
but in the
Oscar.
general context of the
Oscar.
Bible, it talks about-
No, there is no such thing as the context of the Bible. In the context of Isaiah, it doesn't say anything about a second coming. Again, I don't know how many times I have to tell you this. I'm not willing to insert things into the text that aren't there. And I don't just assume because the authors of the New Testament believed a thing about Jesus that means that that's what Isaiah must be saying.
Because you're reading the Bible literally, and the Bible is
Yes, that's
a
right. I read
prophecy.
no, not literally.
You need to
I read
decode
it. I read it plainly because unlike you, I'm not scared of what the Bible actually says.
I'm not scared of anything. I'm just scared.
Yes,
of
you
what-
are. You're terrified of what the text says. You have to
I'm
twist
not.
it and make it say
I
things
don't
it doesn't
have to twist
say.
anything.
That's all you've been doing this whole time,
Look,
Oscar.
listen, man. At the end of the day, salvation.
Yeah, whatever. I'm done with you. We spent way too much time on you anyways. Wasted my space. Sorry, everyone. I kept him on for too long. I thought I could get to him, but he just doesn't like the Bible. It's fine. All right, we got Big Money McRich. Big Money, I'm going to ask you the same 3 questions I ask all my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1.
Can anyone else not see it? I can't see them.
1 second, they're about to come up. I guess they aren't here anymore. They disappeared. Let's see. Let me check my guest box over here. Oh, well. Those 2 guests ran away at the last second, I guess. Anyways, let's take a look at the comments right now. You did great. He needs help. Listen, I don't think there's enough help that I can provide for him. What mic are you using? A Fifine AXM Dynamic? I don't remember. Oh, boy. Let's see. It's whatever when Satan doesn't win the argument. Stacy, I'm not listen, if you think I'm Satan, I'm going to need you to demonstrate that. But of course, like this is also is a typical tactic of Christians that when someone disagrees with you and you don't like what they're saying, just call them Satan and that's the end of the argument. That's boring. Thank you for the wind up.
Question is, Dalton, are you group 7?
I am group 7. I saw a video today that says if you see this, you're group 7, so I'm group 7 now.
I am too.
That is your tactic, host. My tactic is just simply to read the Bible for what it actually says. Did you get church hurt when you were young? No, I actually liked church when I was young. This is another thing that for some reason Christians cannot fathom is that people can actually leave church and having like actually enjoyed church. Like I only left Christianity because of the Bible. What do you use to get the original Greek translation? Translation? I don't look at translations. I just look at the original Greek. And you can go online and find plenty of like copies of the Greek New Testament or the Masoretic text.
Yeah, you can go to. I don't know that I agree with Center for New Testament Restoration, Dalton. I found a bad translation.
But they don't have translations on there.
Yes, yes, they do at the bottom.
Oh, I just ignore that. I'm just looking at the manuscripts.
Yeah. In they call what was it? Homosexuals. They use that term to
For the Malakoi and Arsenokoitai.
yeah,
Which was be incorrect. Yeah,
yeah,
I
that
don't.
would be-
I don't even look at the English translation they provide because, well,
Well, they use the Strongs. It tells us. Yeah.
gross.
'Cause I was looking
Strong-
at it, I was like, wait, why are they using Strongs?
Strong's is gross. Let's see. Now we know people will leave church. The Bible says. No, we know. No, we know people will leave. Yeah, I did. I didn't say I didn't leave the church, Stacy. I'm saying I didn't leave the church because I was church hurt. Listening ears. Listening ears.
Seems to be a problem with the Christians.
I was
Today
gonna
for
say
sure.
tonight, yeah, but like, yeah, well, yeah, sometimes they're not.
Dennis says, growing up in a Christian household, was it hard to declare your atheism? Yes, it was. But, I'm out now, so, it's all good. Paul Vibe says, wait, say it in a British accent, Dalton. Say what in a British accent? All that talk about having ears to hear and Christians seem to be deaf. The irony. Oh my gosh, thank you for the money gun.
Yeah,
Um,
thank you, because we're normally in the conversation, but thank you, Kay, for. Is it okay if I call you Kay? Because I can't pronounce that. I'm so bad. I appreciate it.
Paul says it was for what you read earlier, but anything right now, honestly. It was for what you read earlier, but anything right now, honestly. That was my attempt. I could do a Cockney accent. Well, all right, Mary Poppins.
He's a KK, and I'm like, ooh, though, because what if I accidentally add another K?
Oops. Okay. Oh man. All right. Okay, well, there's 135 people in here, so everyone keep tapping that screen, and if you haven't already, share out the live, and maybe we can have an honest Christian who actually wants to have a decent dialogue with us, unlike the last guest. Stacey said, no, you said Christians don't believe people actually leave the church. No, I didn't, Stacey. Like, open your ears. Jesus Christ. I would never make the claim that Christians don't leave the church. That's silly.
Make sure you're tapping that the screen, sharing out the live, sending out the heart me, doing the repost, all the things. It helps us get people in here to have conversations with so we can keep you entertained.
Someone said, what do you believe in, host? Explain the intricacies of our creation. First and foremost, there isn't a creation, and I believe in evolution. We have Edward. Edward, I'm going to ask you the same three questions I ask all my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18? Edward?
Oh, I didn't mean to connect. Get out of my
Okay.
car.
That's fine. Have a good day.
You too.
Dustin still can't define scientific theory. They never can. They never can. Make sure to tap my face, everybody. Tap that. All on the floor. Tap that. Give me some more. Let's see. Careful saying JC. They might say Jesus is the only named blaspheme. Well, Jesus fucking Christ and Muhammad on a stick. Let's see. I just said Muhammad, and now I've probably summoned a bunch of freaking Dawa brothers. Jinx says, give Dalton a headache tap. Yeah, give Dalton a headache tap. Are you and Justin going live? Tomorrow? Yes, tomorrow. Let's see. What do you do with your guilt? Therapy. That's one word. Covered that. Piglet says, the smooth face is growing on me. Thank you. You know what's funny? The irony of a smooth face growing on you. It's not generally how smooth faces come about. Let's see. Love your life, says Kashka. Thank you so much, Kashka. Autismal Equinox says, police be upon him. Yes, Muhammad, police be upon him.
And Oscar said, what if therapy doesn't work? Well, generally, if you're not vibing with your therapist, get a new one. And then also ask them what therapy styles, because talk therapy, again, doesn't work with me, because I've gone through CBT, DBT, I've read all the books, but there's tons of different therapy types. Like I've now gone in where I've requested for something called EMDR to deal with trauma, because talk therapy actually just winds up like bringing up more trauma. But have a discussion with your therapist about what type of therapies may be available.
I think what's really embarrassing right now is that Dustin just said host doesn't believe in the Bible, but he believes in the theory. Dustin, it's kind of embarrassing that you don't know what a scientific theory is. If you say that, it tells me you don't actually know what scientific theories are. That's embarrassing. Maybe read a book that's not the Bible. Maybe.
And they said until you run out of money. Well, the unfortunate thing is that the Bible is not going to help you get like through all of these things in a positive manner. Generally, we find in research, especially within fundamentalism, that people who are fundamentalists are less likely to see doctors. They're less likely to like engage in acts of like forgiveness, like. Instead of asking an individual when they do wrong, we find that they'll ask God instead. So it doesn't typically like breed an environment of which these like social engagements are happening on a level. So I'm sorry if you can't afford therapy. Maybe we should vote for universal health care or, those types of things.
Justin Turnquist says, scientific theory is not fact, so you explain it to me. Dustin, if a scientific theory was a house, the bricks would be made of facts. It's a scientific theory is basically the graduation point of an idea within science. Like there's nothing after theory. Hey, thank you for the glasses. No, Dustin, that's not wrong, you dimwit.
So a theory in science, right? So generally when we like form hypothesis, we're going through the scientific method. We either reject or accept the null. A theory is like so well like studied and it's never been falsified. With a theory, if you even falsify it basically once, as long as your methodology was good, the entire thing is gone. It goes away. So no. That is what makes it fact.
My dude Googled the word theory and then he read the first definition for it and thought that's what scientific theory was. This is embarrassing. Actually, Dustin, here's the thing, Dustin. If you want to keep running your mouth, you can do it, but you're going to have to do it up here with me. So you get muted. There. Now you're muted, and the only way you could run your mouth about your scientific ignorance is by coming up and talking to me directly. Okay, let's see. 1 second, I gotta open up my TikTok again because I was not able to. Let's see. There we go. We're back. All right. Let's see. We are an atheist secular learning space providing learning and education on the Bible from a non-dogmatic secular perspective. All are welcome. What part of the Bible is your problem? The part with the words in it.
Where it stones women for not yelling loud enough when they're being raped.
Oh, Matt, you're begging the question. He said, at what point did you start ignoring the conviction of the Holy Spirit before your deconstruction? Matthew, at what point did you stop beating your wife? Don't like that kind of question, do you? Piglet says, I don't like the thin pages. Get a thicker Bible. Get thicker Bible pages. They are a thing. Let's see. Matt, you just assumed in your question that it was ignoring the conviction of the Holy Spirit. You would have to demonstrate that that's a real thing. It's like if I was to say to you, at what point did you stop beating your wife? It like assumes that you're doing something that you aren't actually doing. You'd have to demonstrate that I actually ignored the conviction of the Holy Spirit, because the Holy Spirit doesn't exist and it doesn't convict anyone of anything. Aaron, thank you for reposting the live.
Yeah, keep tapping the screen, sharing out the live, doing all the things. Sending your daily heart meat if you have a coin.
Well, Matt, you can disagree all day you want to, but until such a time as you can actually demonstrate that the Holy Spirit exists, I'm not going to believe that. I don't believe in no ghosts.
Erica's got the right idea. If you people can type, you can tap. So tap.
Yeehaw!
Screen. Thank you for. Wait, I didn't see who sent that.
I need to get like a smaller headset that can go right in my ears. That way I can wear a cowboy hat when I do this. Represent. Just for clarification, you don't believe in Torah as well, correct? Correct. The Torah is also, like, the Torah is absolute fiction. Nothing written in the Torah is true, historically speaking. Paul, I'm from Texas. I'm not going full Jared. I'm just from Texas. I get to wear a cowboy hat. Someone asked me if I do believe in God. I asked Marduk, Ishtar, Shamash, Nergal, Tiamat, Asher. Right? I mean, which God? Luther was all the Holy Spirit narratives. No thanks. You think nothing in the Torah is historical? Correct. There is nothing that's found in the Torah which is historical. Nothing. Adam didn't exist. Noah didn't exist. Abraham didn't exist. The Israelites were never like enslaved in Egypt in mass and didn't do a mass exodus from Egypt. So, I see the Bible.
Egypt exists. Yeah, no, we agree that Egypt exists.
Erica Rachel says, I see the Bible guy in Justin's lives. Hey, yeah, we are big fans of Justin here. We have Ernest. I earnestly hope that Ernest will answer all our questions. Ernest, I'm going to ask you the same 3 questions I ask all my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18?
Yes.
Question number 2, are you a Bible believer?
Yes.
And then question number 3, what are your pronouns?
I'm a male, so I guess he, him.
He, him? All right. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. I don't believe in the Bible. Ernest, why should I?
Well, you seem to have taken a stance against it in general, so how would I be able to convince you to believe in something you already decided you don't want to believe in?
Well, I didn't decide that I didn't want to believe in it. I just don't believe in it because, like, it's not convincing.
I understand that. And I see that you've done all the historical research. Is that true? Okay. And I think you said you were a Christian before, and then you became atheist?
Yeah, well, I went from Christianity to Judaism and from Judaism to atheism.
Oh, wow. So it was both. So what happened with that journey, if you don't mind?
Quite simply, I just started learning the Bible, reading the Bible in its original language and context, and it became quite clear that it wasn't relating truth.
But how so?
First and foremost, because, like, for example, the New Testament makes the claim that Jesus was the Messiah and that he fulfilled prophecies, but yet when I go back and read the Hebrew Bible, he doesn't fulfill a single messianic prophecy.
Okay. Can you give me an example?
Yeah, like, for example, he didn't bring world peace, he didn't build the temple and reestablish the Levitical priesthood with its many sacrifices, and he also didn't ingather the exiles back to the land of Israel.
Okay. And these things you're saying are missing all throughout history? Or you just have not found them to be true?
Yeah, it's obviously not true. Like, we have wars, don't we? The prophet Isaiah said, nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore.
Mm-hmm. And you don't believe that ever happened in history? Because there are
because we learned war.
Yeah, there was war for a very long time. And it's not just through the Christians, through the Jews. It was just war in general because of the nature of people.
Yeah, but the prophet said that when Messiah comes that there will be no more war. So there's still war, which tells me the Messiah hasn't come.
Well, that wasn't referring to his first coming.
I don't see anything in the Hebrew Bible that says anything about a first or second coming.
Well, there is mention of the Messiah being born of a virgin, a young woman, a
No.
maiden.
Yeah, maiden. No, it's not about the Messiah. That passage wasn't even about the Messiah. It just says that an individual was born of a maiden.
Oh, okay. So, with the semantics, right? Why would it be necessary to even mention that? Because people are born daily.
Yeah, well, the purpose of the child being born was to serve as a sign to King Ahaz that God was with him and that God hadn't forsaken him. The child was one of Isaiah's kids. His name was Emmanuel, and the whole purpose of the kid was that he told Ahaz that before the child is old enough to say mother and father and to know the difference between good and evil, the land of the two kings that you dread will be swept away. So the child served as a physical reminder or a sign to Ahaz that God was still with him.
Okay. I can see what you're saying there. What about the part where, I don't remember where in Isaiah it is, but it references a child being born. He will be the wonderful
Hezekiah.
counselor. Okay. So
King Hezekiah.
what about that?
Yeah, that's obviously it can't be about the future because the text says to us that unto us a here I'll actually read the text real quick. It says in Hebrew,
Okay.
it says Ki yeled yulad lanu, for unto us a child has been born. As in when Isaiah declared this, the child was already born.
And does it have the titles that were given in the English and the Hebrew?
Vayikra shemo Pele Yoetz El Gibor Aviad Sar Shalom. The name of the child is, he has a lot of titles that he's called the wonderful counselor, mighty God, father of eternity, and the Prince of Peace.
And then who did you say that's referring to?
Hezekiah. If you're wondering why it is that Hezekiah can be referred to as the mighty God, it's because in ancient Israel, the kings of Israel were seen as divine figures because they were the sons of God. And we see, for example, in the Psalms that the kings of Israel, like Solomon, can be referred to even as Elohim because it's not describing their ontology. It's more of an adjectival description.
No, that I understand because I understand that the term God just means ruler. So it doesn't
Well, not
necessarily.
exactly.
Yeah, where you see and I believe it's in Psalms where the Messiah quotes that in the New Testament where he says, "Didn't I say you are gods?"
Oh, that's actually about gods.
But he was talking to people,
Yeah, that's
like
because
regular people.
that's because he misquoted the psalm, took it out of context. In its original context, it's about the divine council, which was a group of deities that Yahweh was the head deity over, and that he's mad at them for being unjust, and he's demoting them to the status of mortals.
So then that doesn't line up then with the New Testament because when the Messiah spoke, he said, "Didn't I say you are gods?" But you want to condemn
Yeah,
son of
that's
God.
because probably Jesus really actually didn't say that. The author of John even says that Jesus says, "Is it not written in your law? I said you are gods." Like the author doesn't even know that this is actually in the Psalms, not in the law of Moses, and in its original context has nothing to do with human rulers.
Well, when you see law in the Bible, it doesn't always refer to the law of Moses. As you go
Sure it
through
does.
can I explain?
Sure.
As you go through Genesis all the way to Revelation, actually even before the law was given and the commandments were given, you see where you call him God, I will call him Yahuwah. He spoke. And
That's
he
not a
said,
real Hebrew word.
either way, we have different understandings, right? I just want to explain my point. You see where he spoke and he said his commandments, right? And that was before the 10 commandments were ever given.
Are you referring to when it says that Abraham obeyed my voice, my commandments, and my statutes?
Yes, before the law.
Sure, but when Jesus refers to nomos, the Greek word for law in the in the Gospels, he is always referring to the law of Moses. And nowhere in any other work do we ever see the Psalms being referred to as law, because they're not laws. That's a categorical error. They're just declarations. They are poetry and songs. They're not laws.
Well, it's possible as a translation issue, because if you read Luke, I believe it's Luke 24, 44, and 45. Can you pull that up, please?
Yeah, but it's the Greek word nomos. Nomos means law. Luke
I
chapter
understand.
what?
Yeah, I understand. Luke 24, 44 and 45.
Then he said to them, "These are my words which I spoke to you while I was still with you, that everything written about me in the law of Moses and the prophets and the Psalms must be fulfilled." Then he opened their minds to understand the scriptures.
So that's important because he mentions them all. The Psalms, the law, and the prophets, right? A lot of people just lump those in as one. And there were a lot of changes in the scriptures. I'm sure you know that. Are you aware of all the changes in the scriptures? Or at least in English. I don't know about the Greek or the Hebrew, but I know in English.
Yeah, I know that translations often are fluid about how they translate the text, but I don't see what this has to do with the Psalms being categorized as law.
But again, even Paul mentions different laws, and people refer to the law of Moses, but it's not actually the law of Moses. It's referring.
But he never refers to the Psalms as law.
Yeah.
Where? Where does Paul ever refer to the Psalms calling them the law?
Well, there's different verses, and it's in the New Testament in and of itself. And I don't have my computer readily available as you do. But the question that you asked was, why should you believe in the Bible, right? So
Yeah.
I think honestly for you, you would have to go outside the Bible. To be honest, not trying to be funny. For example, are you familiar with Pliny the Younger?
Yeah. He wrote about the Christians that they worshiped Christ as a god.
So why would an unbeliever in the faith of the believers, right? We're talking about Christians, and they weren't supposed to be called Christians either. Even in the same Bible, they're not supposed to be called Christians. That was actually a derogatory term that was given to them by the Romans and Antioch.
We don't know that. It just says that they began to be called Christians at Antioch. It doesn't say who called them that or why.
Well, Antioch was a Roman location, right, where the Romans ruled.
Well, it was Greek. It was Greek and Jewish.
I understand your side, but there's two sides, right? So there's your side, and there's going to be how I'm explaining it to you as well. But prior to that, 5 times in the book of Acts, you see Luke refer to those people who were later called Christians. They were referred to as followers,
Nazarenes,
the followers of the way.
Yeah.
You see that 5 times, right? So they weren't supposed to be called Christians, just so you know.
I'm very well. That was They were originally called the Nazarenes of the Way, but in Greek-speaking society, they become called Christianos. I don't see. But what does this have to do with anything about why should I believe in the Bible?
That's why I said when you go outside of it and you read Pliny the Younger. So you're saying that he lied as well? He just made it up?
No. I think Christians existed, that Jesus existed. I just don't think he was the Messiah, that he fulfilled prophecy or anything like that. He just writes about Christians, which he barely knew anything about because they weren't that numerous during his time, and he had to go out and actually do research on them. But yeah, I don't think Christians didn't exist.
Okay, so I guess I understand a little bit more your stance. So that doesn't matter then. The Pliny the Younger, and it's not just him. There were many other writings by those who didn't believe in the faith, and they found the faith to be odd, the way that those people carried themselves, and the one whom they claimed to believe in, and their
Pliny
claims.
the Younger called it a superstition.
Well, that's what we can say today, but you and I weren't born at that time.
Yeah, but so Ernest, why should I believe that the Bible is true?
That's why I say you have to go outside the Bible.
I have.
For example, look at the Statue of Liberty, right?
Why are we talking about the Statue of Liberty, which was made over 1,000 years after the Bible was completed, and it was made by the French?
But it's important because of the symbolism. I
don't care about symbolism, and I don't care that all this would tell me is what people over 1,000 years after the Bible was written believed. It doesn't tell me that what the Bible says is true. I don't care about symbolism.
If you cut me off, you can't let me get to my point.
All right, I'll give you like a minute to.
No, I don't need to speak that long.
For why the Statue of Liberty?
I wouldn't talk.
Okay, can you explain to me why the Statue of Liberty should give me could? Yeah, sure.
According to the Bible, Satan is known, Lucifer, right? When you translate that, he's known as a light bearer, right?
That's not the devil. It's not the devil.
I know people say that that's another person, but let me finish.
The king of Babylon.
It's still symbolic.
No.
It's still symbolic.
It has symbolic language to refer to the downfall of the king of Babylon, but it has nothing to do with an angel.
Again, that's your side, and I'm still explaining. And
Sure.
then there's a chain that's broken on the foot of the statue. That chain is
Hmm.
symbolic to the same chain that the angel that came down from heaven, that grabbed Satan and threw him down into the
It symbolizes liberty.
That's what it's. That's the lie. That's the deception. There.
Oh, okay, Ernest. I don't care about conspiracy theories. Let's get over this.
It's not
I
a
don't want to talk
conspiracy.
about the Statue of Liberty and the conspiracy theory about what you think the hidden secret symbolism of it is. And your whole point, you're basing this off of Lucifer, and Lucifer's not the devil.
Ernest, I want to know what the symbolism is when they stone women for not screaming loud enough when they get raped in the Bible. What's the symbolism for that?
So you're going pre-Messiah, right? So that's before he came,
It was still God's law.
because according to the scriptures, the Messiah never killed anyone. I'm sorry.
No,
he
no,
never
no.
killed
Jesus
anyone according
tells
to-
people. Jesus tells people to keep the commandments.
Well, that's not true, because if you
That
remember,
is
the
true.
woman-
It's
if
true.
you remember but it was
Ernest, fun fact, Ernest. John chapter 8. If you go back to the oldest manuscripts of the Gospel of John,
Yeah.
is not in the Gospel of John. And even if it was, it still wouldn't matter, because according to the law of Moses, when you stone a woman, guess what? The man has to be present, and there needs to be witnesses. Those things were not met in the story. Therefore, if Jesus would have stoned her, it would have actually been breaking the law of Moses.
Okay.
You want Jesus to have
But he
sinned
did it.
because that's bad for you and what you believe.
Well, no, because you mentioned that according to the law, the woman must be
If he
stoned.
didn't follow the law, he would have sinned, and that would have not made him your Messiah, according
Yeah.
to your
Well,
own theology.
that's not necessarily true. In the book of
Yes, it is.
Hebrews, and
I think it's like literally in all the Gospels.
well, if you read Hebrews, the book of Hebrews, it talks about the Messiah coming in the order of Melchizedek, and when there's a change of priesthood, because he came from the tribe of Judah.
And yet
But
the
wait, let me
Hebrew
finish.
Bible. And yet,
Let
the
me
Hebrew
finish.
Bible, the whole point of the order of Melchizedek, they're trying to derive that from Psalm 110, but Psalm 110 doesn't say anything about an order of Melchizedek in the original Hebrew.
Well, Abraham gave tithes to Melchizedek in the book of Genesis.
And
Hold on. According to Hebrews,
Mhm.
for we do not have a high priest who is unable to sympathize with our weakness, but
Mhm.
we have one who is in every respect has been tested as we are, yet without sin.
So can you go to the part where it talks about the change of priesthood, where there's a necessary...
yeah,
necessary-
Ernest, I'm familiar with what the book of Hebrews says about how Jesus' priesthood of the order of Melchizedek supersedes the Levitical priesthood.
Yes.
Are you aware that the Hebrew Bible says the Levitical priesthood would be forever?
Did you look up the word forever used there? in context?
Le'olam. Le'olam.
Yes. And what's the meaning there?
Yeah. Olam is a word which means like for a very extended period of time. Now, the book of Ezekiel seems to indicate that that means until the last days, that even the Messiah would offer up sacrifices in the temple.
Okay, so that means there's an end to it. That means it's not...
Yeah,
free.
when heaven and earth passes away.
Well, that's not correct right there. Because when
Yes, it
Messiah-
is. That's what Jesus said.
He said, and when you go to Matthew 24, right? I know you know the prophecy. I know you know. Well, you don't believe in prophecy.
Well,
but I know you know-
Matthew
you know the
Matthew
scriptures there.
has Jesus declaring the destruction of the temple, but that's just but that doesn't mean that that's an end to the Levitical priesthood. If a temple got resurrected or raised back up, then the Levitical priesthood would be reinstituted, because Jesus said, "Until heaven and earth passes away, not a jot or tittle will pass from the law until all is fulfilled." And as it currently stands, all is not yet fulfilled.
He said
Do
it was
not think
fulfilled.
that I have come
He said
to
it. He said it was
hold on,
fulfilled in
Ernest,
Luke
no.
24.
Do not think
No, he
that
doesn't.
I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have come not to abolish, but to fulfill. For I truly tell you, until heaven and earth pass away, not one letter, not one stroke of a letter will pass from the law until all is accomplished. Has all
Okay,
yet been
now
accomplished,
follow
Ernest?
that. You have to follow that with Luke 24, 44, and 45.
Yeah,
Because
has
he
heaven
says
and
it-
earth passed away?
But you have
Has
to
heaven and
follow
earth
that.
passed away? Has heaven and earth passed away?
But do you understand?
Ernest, I want you to be able to answer my questions. Has heaven and earth passed away?
Not as we know it, no.
All right. What did Jesus, after his resurrection, tell his disciples to make all nations obey, to have them observe everything which I've commanded you?
Well, yeah, the Messiah gave the commandments, his commandments. which were
Well, no, no,
different from
no.
most.
No, because one of Jesus' commandments was, for example, in Matthew 23, to do everything that the Pharisees tell you to do.
He said to observe.
Yeah,
But do
observe,
not
which means
do
do what they
yeah,
do,
see, yes, he said observe all that they tell you to observe. But he
which
says
would include,
do not do as they do. Observing
yeah,
is
because they
talking
don't
about,
keep the law of Moses.
well, they were hypocrites, right? That's the main thing that he was
So
saying.
the whole purpose of Matthew 23 is Jesus telling his followers to observe the Torah as the Pharisees tell you to do it.
Isn't that before the Messiah died?
Doesn't matter because after he died, he said, "Observe everything which I commanded you," which would include Matthew 23.
So you would have to read Matthew 5 all the way through to the end.
I have.
Yeah, I understand. So those are the things that he taught to his people. And then if
Those
you
aren't
remember,
the only things he taught, Ernest.
do you remember the two greatest commandments when they asked him what is the greatest of in
Yeah,
the law?
yeah. He said the two greatest. He didn't say the only commandments.
But he said on those two commandments hang
Hang
all
the entirety
law
of the Torah.
and the
Yeah.
prophets.
Do you know that was actually already a belief within Judaism?
But we're talking about what he said, right?
Yeah,
So he
Ernest. What
said it.
what Jesus taught about the two greatest commandments being the commandments that all the Torah hangs upon, that was already a belief in Judaism. Are you aware of that?
Well, they weren't carrying it out. That's why the Messiah had to come.
Well, I don't think that the Gospels are accurately portraying for us the nature of the Pharisees. Like you're reading the Christian propaganda against the Pharisees.
Well, I mean, we're talking about the Bible, right? So I can't have anything outside
Yeah,
of that.
if
You're asking about the
I
Bible.
if I read what the Pharisees wrote, what do you think they're going to say about Christians? Should I believe them?
And that's fine. I mean, if somebody's writing it, like if you write a book, you may talk about things that I don't agree with,
Ernest, do
but
you
that
have the
doesn't mean that what you're
Septuagint in your
saying is
Bible?
not true. What's that?
You have the Septuagint in your Bible?
Yes, I have the Apocrypha as well.
Okay. Because I was about
Because
to ask you if you don't use that, it's a little indication. Because you have all of the
I know,
Deuteronomical and Apocryphal books.
Yeah,
Here,
I have those.
this conversation has gotten way out of off the rails. So, Ernest, why should I think that the Bible is true? I'm going to rein it back in.
I think you do believe part of it is true because you quote it a lot.
No, quoting
That
something
part
a
of
lot
it-
doesn't. If I sat up here talking about the Quran all day, would that mean I believe and I'm secretly believe the Quran is true?
Well, there's
Like
a
I
reason
do,
there's a
I
reason you're
directly,
talking about the Quran.
I do whenever I have a Muslim come up. Now,
The title of your show
I
is,
obviously don't believe in the Bible because I directly contradict it on several instances. I've literally spent this entire time telling you why Jesus isn't the Messiah because he did not fulfill a single prophecy.
yeah, but that's actually the same thing that
all the
happens.
time.
That happened when I had the conversation with they're called the BHIs, right? I speak with them and
I just debated a BHI today and I roasted him.
I think I caught a little bit of that, but they kind of follow the same tactic, and it's not right. If we're gonna go with scripture, right? And the title of your show is why should we believe in the Bible? And you quote it very well. I kudos. I give you. I'm impressed a little bit there, whether that matters to you or not. But if you're gonna say you don't believe in the Bible, and why should you believe in the Bible? What's the point of you talking about it if there's no belief in it at all?
To get you to think a little bit deeper about what it is you believe, because most Christians on this app don't really know their Bible all that well, or at least they don't know the Hebrew Bible all that well.
Okay. Well, I'm not actually a Christian. I used to be.
Yes,
a
you are.
Christian.
I would categorize you as a Christian because you believe Jesus was the Messiah, and that's all I care about when it comes to the title Christian.
Well,
I don't care.
I just don't
have
accept the name that was given to him. He wasn't Christ. He was the Messiah, Mashiach.
Christ,
That's what he was.
are you a Hebrew Roots movement guy?
No.
Okay.
I'm not
Christ
Hebrew.
Christ
I'm not
Christ
Hebrew.
is
Are you
just the
Hebrew? Are you
Greek
Hebrew?
Christ is the Hebrew is the Greek translation of the Hebrew word Mashiach.
Okay.
Those are the same thing.
But it was there. I just don't accept it. That's all.
You don't. It's not something for you to accept. It's just a fact.
Well,
like
what you
if
call
someone
yourself-
walked up to me and said, well, I don't believe in gatos. I only believe in cats. And I said, well, gato is just the Spanish word for cat. I don't get to sit up here and go, well, I don't accept that. Like, you don't get to accept The translation of words, those are just facts.
Well, that's weird because Caesar was called Christos.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, he was. So it doesn't make sense that a Hebrew.
Ernest. Where was Caesar called Christos? Point me to the document.
That's in history. That's in the history books, and I know you.
No, it's not.
Somewhere. Yeah.
Christos had no meaning to the Greek and Roman audience.
That's
and
not
also,
true.
whatever Caesar would have been called, he would have been called in the Latin tongue, which was the official language of the Romans. And so, no, this is just something you heard on the internet or heard from somebody, but you haven't actually read any actual first primary source that calls Caesar Christos, because that's not true.
I haven't read as much as you, but I have studied.
You've heard someone make the claim that Caesar was called Christos. There are no primary sources that call Caesar Christos.
Well, you're gonna have to fact check that.
No, you're the one who's making the claim. You're the one making the claim, Ernest. If you're going to make the claim that Caesar was called Christos, I'm not going to believe you until you can bring me the primary source.
Well, isn't he the one who referred to himself? Don't they refer to themselves as gods?
Gods, but not Christos. Those are two different words with two different meanings.
You're actually being pulled into another direction there, and then you're arguing with me over Christos when we're talking about something.
Oh my God, Ernest! The only person who we ever had what was called Christos would be Jesus and David and Solomon in the Septuagint. They're all called Christos.
Well, that goes back to what we were talking about in Acts. When the believers were first called Christians, there was already Christos in existence.
David was called Christos.
No, there was someone else already present. That there was
David.
A group of people.
You have no evidence that anyone other than King David and Solomon and you don't have any ancient books. You're just saying that.
So you don't want to accept it.
No, I have nothing to accept. You've given me nothing.
Give us a primary source that says this.
You want me to have it right now when that's not the topic of this conversation.
You should at least be able to name to me the document that says that Caesar is called Christos.
No, if you want, I can go back and get my research. And
What language was the New Testament written in?
In Greek.
And what word is used to describe Jesus in the New Testament?
His name or his title?
His title.
Isn't there Lord there or Kyrios?
No. What's the first opening words of the Gospel of Matthew in Greek?
From the first verse.
Yeah.
Well, I
in the
don't
Greek.
know Greek is as good as you do. Can you read it? Sir?
Biblos geneseos Jesu Christu, huiu David, huiu Abraham.
Okay. Can you translate that?
The book of the generation of Jesus Christ, the son of David, the son of Abraham, Jesu Christu.
Okay. So why does it say Jesus Christ instead of saying it in the Hebrew? He was a Hebrew.
Because it was written in Greek.
Yeah, but when you see later on when Pilate was doing the inscription, right? It was written in Hebrew, Greek, and Latin.
Actually, it was written in Aramaic, Greek, and Latin. Your Bible mistranslates it.
I only have the Bible, and it says Hebrew. That's all I have.
Yeah, it uses the Greek word Hebreos, but Hebreos most likely refers to the Aramaic language, because the Greeks didn't make a distinction between Hebrew and Aramaic. But Jesus spoke Aramaic and not Hebrew.
I understand that, and I agree with you there. Wouldn't you accept that it would look different from the Aramaic, the Greek, and the Latin? It wouldn't be the same exact spelling; it'd be a different meaning.
Yeah, it would have said in Latin, it would have said like something to the effect of Jesus Nazarenos Rexus Judaeores, and the Greek would have said Jesus Nazaraios Basilius Judaios. It doesn't say Christ on any of the titles in the Greek or Hebrew or Aramaic.
Okay, so I understand that.
But the New Testament calls him Christ. Christ is just the Greek form of the Hebrew word Mashiach. If you open up the Greek translation of the Septuagint, individuals like David and Solomon and Cyrus, who are all called Mashiach, are also called Christos in the Greek.
Okay, and that's what we were talking about earlier. If you believe any changes were made to the Bible, to the Torah,
That's
to the
that's
scripture,
just that's just a translation issue. That's not a change necessarily.
but that's a big problem there when you think about it. Because
Translation?
why make the change? Just leave it the same. It's like your
Well,
name.
because not everyone speaks Hebrew. Ernest, you know why the Septuagint was created in the first place?
Why it was created. So you're saying it was created to make it easier for people who spoke the language to be able to read it?
Yeah, because not all Jewish people in the early first and second century BCE spoke Hebrew. Most of the ones that lived in Palestine spoke Aramaic, and the ones who lived outside of the Holy Land spoke Greek. The Jewish people that are like in Alexandria spoke Greek. They couldn't read the Hebrew Bible, so a Greek translation was created for them.
Yeah, I agree with you. Those are the Hellenized Jews that Paul was referring to in the scriptures. I agree with you.
So
Those are
Christus
the Greek
is a
speaking-
valid translation of the Hebrew word Mashiach.
It's kind of easy to say Mashiach, so it's not necessary. But your name is Dalton. Wherever you go in the world, you're going to be Dalton, wherever you're at. Why would someone change their
Yeah,
name?
but if I'm called a man, I don't get called man in every language. I get called hombre in Spanish or ish in Hebrew. Like Christu is, oh my God, yeah. This is just I don't know why this is so hard. I get it because I used to belong to the Hebrew Roots movement and people used to think like this too, and it drives me wild. Christu is just the Greek translation of the Hebrew word Mashiach. If you spoke Greek, you would have referred to him as Christos. End of story.
That's fine. It's your show. But I'm sharing.
That's just a
valid
fact.
points. I'm just giving you valid points, and I said your name. I didn't say man. Why did you switch?
Yeah,
it?
well, I wasn't. In Greek, you wouldn't pronounce the name the same way. And okay, how in the Greek? How do you? If you were writing in Greek, how would you write out the name Yeshua?
I don't know Greek alphabet.
Well, let me tell you this: there's no sh sound in Greek. There's no combination of letters that produce the sh sound. If you wanted to say Yeshua in Greek or write it out, you would have to first spell it iota, eta, sigma, which is the letter, the S sound, which is the closest to SH you can get, omicron, upsilon, and if in order to make it masculine and not a feminine name, it would need to end with the letter sigma, so it would become Jesus. Unless you want to make him sound like a woman, which would be Yeshua.
So is that the same reason why they change God and Lord in the Bible over 6,000 times?
No, that's a completely different reason.
Could you share that one with me, since we're on the topic?
So in the original Hebrew, it doesn't get changed. In translations, Yahweh gets just translated as Lord because of a Jewish tradition, where the Jewish people stopped saying God's name out loud.
So I know you say you don't believe in prophecy, but
I
isn't
don't.
that what was prophesied in Jeremiah, or not prophesied? Isn't that what was spoken by the Most High in Jeremiah chapter 23? That
No.
the people would forget His name for Baal, and when you look up what Baal
But
means,
people don't call him Baal. They call him Lord. Lord can be translated from the Hebrew word Baal, or can be translated from the Hebrew word Adonai. Both of those words mean master or Lord.
and that's what he's referring to when you look up that word in the Greek, Baal.
No,
Right?
that
On that
we don't.
verse,
No one calls him. No one calls God Baal. Although Jeremiah calls him Baal at one point,
they call him Lord. Baal means Lord,
and so does Adonai.
Master.
Yeah. So what? Even Jeremiah calls him Baal at one point.
Okay.
Yahweh refers to himself as being the Baal of Israel in Jeremiah 31.
Okay. But in Jeremiah 23, he literally says the people will forget his name.
The reason for that is because the ancient Israelites had a hard time distinguishing Yahweh from Baal because both were seen as storm/warrior deities. They served the same function in ancient Israel, so people used to syncretize the two of them. Has nothing to do with the later tradition of Jewish people out of reverence, not refraining from calling Yahweh Yahweh and calling him Adonai. Jewish people don't call him Baal, they call him Adonai.
I got you there. I use that too, but you said because I'm in a Hebrew roots movement, which is not true, but I'm not going to argue with you there.
You argue like people from the Hebrew Roots movement. The people in the Hebrew Roots movement believe in a lot of things and make a lot of linguistic errors based off of hearsay and not based off what the Bible actually says in the rules of actual Hebrew and Greek.
I understand, but if I tell you that I'm not associated, then
Yeah, I know you're not associated with them. You just make the same bad arguments.
I'm not actually arguing. I'm just discussing with you.
You make the same bad points as them. Then
Well, which bad point are you referring to?
all of them so far, every single one of them.
Can you remember one at least?
That
I would
the
like to
reason
go
that
back and
people
study.
call Yahweh Lord has something to do with him being referred to as Baal.
Well, no, I didn't actually say that.
You did. You make the claim that there's a prophecy in Jeremiah, which it wasn't a prophecy, but just that says that people refer to God as Baal, and
Yeah, I
has
did correct
nothing.
myself and say no, it wasn't a prophecy. It was the Most
Right.
High speaking, and that the people would refer to him.
Okay, I'm gonna rein this in one more time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna rein this in one more time because this language stuff is stressing me out. Why should I believe the Bible is true? I'll give you one last chance.
Well, you said you don't believe anything in the Bible.
Yeah, the majority of the Bible is not true. There are a couple nuggets of truth in there, but it's like a few pieces of corn in an otherwise giant pile of shit.
So are you saying the entire New Testament is completely contrary to the Old, or vice versa?
Well, Jesus wasn't so much as contrary to the Old Testament, but Paul definitely was. Although Jesus does sometimes misquote the Hebrew Bible, and the authors of the Gospels do also misquote the Hebrew Bible.
Okay. And the reason I'm asking you those questions is because, again, I'm not fighting with you. If there's anything that I can take from this and go study and learn from it, that's actually my intention, and that's the part. That's the reason why I came up here. So that way you know that I'm not fighting. I'm not here to fight with you. I'm not here to debate with you. It's just a conversation, right?
Do you have anything to bring up?
And the prophecy about the Messiah. You don't
Which
believe
one?
the Messiah, with him being born in Bethlehem.
There's no prophecy about a Messiah being born in Bethlehem. Micah 5:2 doesn't say anything about a Messiah being born in Bethlehem. It says that someone's origins are going forth would be from Bethlehem, but it doesn't say that they're born in Bethlehem. It just says that they're going forth is from Bethlehem, from ancient from of old, from ancient days. Means that their ancient origin is of Bethlehem, meaning that they're a descendant of King David, who was from Bethlehem.
Okay, so the place where Herod sent the Magi to go find the king, the Messiah who was prophesied to be born.
But I don't think that either of the nativity stories are true history. They're both made up.
Okay.
Because they contradict each other, and we have no historical evidence that Herod ever killed a bunch of children in Bethlehem.
But just FYI, we have two other guests.
Yeah, I know. I think we're going to end this conversation and move on to the next guest. But Ernest, thank you for coming up.
Not a problem.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
I would love to talk to a Christian who knows the Old Testament. That would be great. We have Noah Chavez. Noah, I'm going to ask you the same. Lou, I'm seeing your comments in the comment section they're sending me. Noah, I'm going to ask you the same three questions I ask every single one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number one, are you at least 18?
Yes.
Are you a Bible believer?
Yes.
And what are your pronouns?
He, him.
All right. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. Noah, I don't believe in the Bible. Why should I?
Honestly, this isn't really a question pertaining to whether points like whether you should believe it or not. I just have a question on your thoughts of the spirituality of life. Do you believe there's a spiritual aspect to things? And
No, there are no such thing as spirits.
So where do you think people get misconceived and start to follow this notion and believe this notion in the spiritual life, or where do you think the deception of that comes from?
It mostly comes from psychology. So our ancient origins, that we have this feature within our brains called hyperagency detection.
Okay.
Most mammals have this, especially those who are more prey than predators. So imagine, for example, you have a deer that's in a field, and the deer hears a rustling in the bushes. It could be a predator, or it could just be the wind. It's safer for the deer to assume it's a predator, so he runs. After millions of years of evolution and us building on this instinct to run when we hear something because it might be a predator, we automatically just associate agency where there might not be agency, that there might be agents or things responsible, or persons or things responsible for example, the rustling of the trees, the flowing of the rivers. And this led to our ancestors believing that there were invisible agents responsible for movement and within nature and sound. And this would develop to the concept of like spirits in the ancient world.
Okay. All right. Well, that was just a question I wanted to ask you, just because I seen you were pretty well educated on something like that. So, thank you for your time. I appreciate you.
You too. Have a good day, Noah. Lou says, "Thank you, Evolution." I don't know. I feel kind of here or there about it because it could be useful, but at the same time, I'll be sitting in my bedroom and I'll see like the chair and think it's a person because of that hyper agency detection, and I get freaked out. We have Athiel. I'm gonna ask you the same 3 questions I ask every single one of my guests. Question number 1: are you at least 18?
Yes.
Question number 2: are you a Bible believer?
Not all of it, but some.
Okay, we'll get to that in a second. And question number 3: what are your pronouns?
All right. He, him.
All right. Athiel, I am the Bible guy. I don't believe in the Bible. What do you mean by some parts you believe in, some parts you don't?
I think that the claim that Jesus existed, the primary source for that may be Marcion's writings, which may be source material for the Gospels.
I disagree. I think the Gospels predate Marcion. I think we have texts about Jesus that existed in the first century, such as First Clement.
I was reading an argument. My only source for this is going to be the Christ before Jesus guys. I don't know if you ever debate them. But they talked about Clement's actually more likely being later than first century.
It says ex-evangelical on your.
Yes.
But are you an atheist?
Yes, I'm an agnostic atheist, but I don't believe Jesus existed. Now, maybe that's a little too off topic, and I apologize if so.
Yeah,
but
No, it's fine. I'm willing to address this point specifically, but then we got to move on. The reason why I don't accept a late date for First Clement and why I believe it's first century is because the author of First Clement speaks about the Temple Institute in the present tense as if it's still running about, which would lead me to believe that it was written at a time before the destruction of the temple.
I think I can plausibly deny that, where if the author of Clements is either reading from something or otherwise intentionally placing the story at what, 33 or whatever, 30 CE.
But it's not a story. Have you read First Clement?
It's been a while. Not enough to meaningfully.
It's just an epistle. It's not. There's no narrative to it. It's not telling a story about Jesus. It's just the author expressing their theology. And at one point, he uses the temple, which he speaks about in the present tense, as an analogy for something else. But it just seems like he seems to believe the temple is still around, and in order to insinuate that he doesn't, and he's just lying, I don't think you'd be able to derive that from the text. I generally, when I want to know when a text was written, I look for internal clues for its dating.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I will have to review. First Clement's been probably too long since I've read it, and there were some other arguments for the later date that I read, but honestly, I can't remember enough of it to meaningfully debate, so I have to concede, and I will get back to you maybe a little later.
Absolutely. Have a good day, Athiel.
You too.
All right, let's see. Do we got anyone else in the box? Oh, okay. Let's see. Looks like I don't have any guests right now. We're probably going to go on for another 30 minutes until 7:30. And then say what?
Then make sure you're tapping out, sharing the live, doing all the things.
This is going to be the longest episode of the Bible Guy on my channel, on my YouTube channel. By the way, everyone, if you haven't already, make sure to go and subscribe to the Bible Guy YouTube channel. It's in my link tree in my bio on TikTok. But I'm going to combine this with the one that we did earlier today. So it's going to be like the longest Bible Guy episode we've done so far. Oh, I'll make sure. 2 seconds. Lou, you're not already subscribed to the Bible Guy YouTube channel? I'm disappointed in you. Do better. Let's see. Yeah, here. Can't really debate if you've actually read the material. Yeah, like I'm going to need to, before I could ever think about debating the CBJ, I'm going to have to read the book first. Dalton, please speak on atheist morality, since there are those who cannot comprehend it. No, this is just my opinion on morality. I think all forms of morality are subjective, even biblical morality. We're all pulling morality from our own minds, but I think that there's an evolutionary reason why we develop morality. It's because Homo sapiens are a social species. And as such, it has always been beneficial to our survival to do things which are beneficial to the group as a whole. Which is why, for example, murder is considered immoral, because we know that it's detrimental to the group. If by and generally when we talk about morality, we mean well-being. Then we can usually come to some objective answers about what is and isn't conducive to the well-being of society. Dylan Howell says, God gives me free will. First off, God doesn't exist. And secondly, no, I don't have free will. Thank you for the G's. Virtue for the win. Let's see. But the sin of empathy. Yeah, I mean, it's a really you do have free will. You're living right now, buddy. Me living has nothing to do with me having free will. Free will is the ability to make a choice independent of underlying causes. I can't think of a single choice that I've ever made that didn't have some underlying cause. Do you believe something that you can approve? Do you believe something that you can approve? I don't know what that means, Matt. You didn't even say the entire sentence I said correctly. It doesn't matter. I was only responding to your claim that I have free will, which I don't. Morality exists before the Bible, so clearly we had a way to figure out what was good, bad, and good. Although we have been developing it. Sometimes we've done things in our society which were contrary to the well-being of society, like stoning people just because they weren't virgins. Consequences will come, but you have free will. I don't think you know what free will is, Dylan. Right, there ain't no proof either way. Can't disprove or prove it, in my opinion, you know? I think we can disprove the Bible pretty easily. I do it all the time. It seems the free will debate is about definitions. I agree. Can you believe in something but that you cannot prove? There's nothing that I believe in that I just believe in without proof. I only believe things based on like the available evidence. You're more than welcome to show me what you think I believe in that I don't have evidence for. Humans are capable of good/evil without a book. This is true. This is true. People are going to use religion to either justify their evil or justify their good. How can you prove there is no God? Well, when it comes to no God, that I just lack a belief in. But when it comes to Yahweh specifically, all we got to do is open this book and do a little study on it. And we can demonstrate that Yahweh definitely doesn't exist. Free will is the ability of every person has to make their own choice. You're blind. No, because under determinism, I still have the ability to make choices. So whatever free will is, it needs to be. You need to be able to give me a definition of free will that doesn't also hold true for determinism. Is the book being held together by tape? Okay, yeah. So, guys, this is my oldest Bible. I've had this since March 22nd, 2011. Someone says we need to get Darth Dawkins in here. No, Darth, I mean, I would love that, but Darth Dawkins doesn't like me. He says I'm a little asshole, which he's not wrong. I am an asshole to him, but because he's a bigger asshole, I give him what he gives everyone else. But anyways, yeah, this book is being held together by tape because I used the fuck out of this book when I was younger. Free will is going way over your proper caloric intake. What? Let's see. If you have a brain, you don't have free will. True. Then what would free will be to you? I've already given you my definition, Dylan. Listen really closely. I'll give it one more time. Free will is the ability to make a choice independent of an underlying cause. That's what free will is. The free part of free will is that it's free of the underlying cause. Jay, thank you for the heart. Lou says W. Dalton. I agree. W. Dalton. Dalton's awesome. I think I can plug myself once every now and then. Oh, I love plugging myself, but that's a different story altogether. Paul says, Dalton, you've added a lot to Justin's live streams. Perfect timing when to jump in. Yeah, it's a skill. It's good that you know when to talk and when you can't talk. People are losing their mind over what I just said. OMG, Dalton's scandalous. Listen, guys, I love plugging myself. I do it all the time. For anyone who doesn't know about human biology, and this is going to drive all the Christian men wild. But yeah, men's G spots are in their prostate. Just saying. Are you plugged in right now? No, not right now. Let's see. Sylvia says, found my people. Oh, this will make the rounds on YouTube. Can you explain, in your opinion, why black women are still so obsessed with the idea of Jesus? It's mostly going to be historical. And it's not just, I don't know why we're singling out black women, because it's not just black women, it's black men as well. A lot of Americans believe in Jesus because of a history of indoctrination, and specifically the fact that, sadly, we forced Christianity upon them.
Yeah, or you could just like talk to black individuals as well, so we don't.
Okay, Alchemist is saying she's a black woman and she wants to know. Okay, just making sure. But yeah, it's because of a history of like indoctrination and God being forced upon. Oh, Alchemist is coming up actually. That's fine.
Hello.
Hi, Alchemist. Hi.
I asked. Thank you for having me first. Okay, so I asked because it's such a rabbit hole I went down with spirituality. There are many, many, many layers, as far as quote God or the Creator or religion. But now that I've exited the Matrix, and I don't mean the popular woke Matrix, I mean like took the chains of Christianity and religion from my mind, and there's an entire world out there. But when I try to explain it or even converse unbiased, but just with my experience to people that look like me, it's astounding to see that people will get angry, so close-minded to the point where it's like, I can show you in the Bible where things just don't make sense in any way, shape, or form. Like, for example, I have children, and I told my mom, I said, well, if I'd have came home as a teenage pregnant female and I told you that some sort of spirit had gotten me pregnant and I have proof because I had a dream and my word is my proof, would you have believed me? And she argued with me and got upset. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm giving you the God's word. Or also, if God created Eden, why would you put a serpent or a snake there? It's crazy, like you setting me up for failure. It sounds kind of sadistic.
Yeah, it's true. I've often said that God was setting up Adam and Eve for failure. Now, the answer as to why it is that African American individuals are so obsessed with Jesus is one word only can explain it: colonization. When white people brought over Africans from Africa and enslaved them, the best way to get them to be submissive was through Christianity. It was through Christianity that they were able to bring control over their slaves, which is why we had the Slave Bible, for example, which was a version of the Bible that basically promoted a lot of the passages of the Bible that were pro-slavery, and got rid of anything that could be remotely construed as being anti-slavery. And so Christianity was forced upon Africans for so long that eventually, you know, as generations would pass on, this would just be the religion that was inherited by people. And eventually, the Exodus story became very meaningful for a lot of enslaved black people, because they have the story of all the Jewish people who are enslaved by the Pharaoh, and God frees them from the slavery, which was a really big thing during the Underground Railroad. Lots of spirituals, hymns focused on the imagery of the Exodus, and Harriet Tubman was even sort of like metaphorized as being like a sort of Moses figure, because of the way that she worked to free many of the slaves. So that history is what's responsible for why there are so many modern like black people who believe in religion. It's just that they were indoctrinated into believing in it because of colonization.
Thank you so much. Of course, I agree with you. It's just like, damn, after 2,000 years, we ain't seen a sandal, a shoe, no kind of real literal savior, no savage, no nothing. It's really crazy. But I appreciate you for having me on. I won't hold much of your time because I want to hear other people, but I really appreciate you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming up, Alchemist. W for Alchemist, everybody. Glad that she was able to free herself from the shackles of Christianity. Rare W guest. We got here. Is there also white Jesus? Is that also where white Jesus came from? No, it's more like what? Okay, so people think that there's Middle Eastern Jesus and there's white Jesus, but those aren't the only versions of Jesus out there. If you go to churches in Africa, you'll see a version of Jesus which is black. If you go to churches in Asia, Jesus is portrayed as Asian. It just seems that wherever Christianity went in the world, people just drew and painted Jesus to look like whatever race they belong to.
Unless you watch Madonna's music video.
What's Madonna? What music video for Madonna?
Like a Prayer.
I haven't seen the music video.
Oh.
And I'm not super familiar with Madonna's music.
You know the song, When I'm on my knees and I'll take you there. The one that was circulating around that the Christian choir sang.
Oh, the Christian choir song.
Yes.
The one that was on Deadpool. Okay.
Yeah, it's Deadpool. Yeah, the Jesus is black in that song.
Lou, I'm roughly the same age as Ashlyn, so I'm just very much culturally
In the Midnight Hour, that's actually the name of the song, yeah.
Yet you get the Deadpool. I just when I was super fundamentalist Christian when I was younger, I was really blocked off from a lot of culture. So ever since then, I've been doing a lot of catching up. But I love that. I love that song. At least the version of the song I've heard. I love that song. Johnny says, "Is that true? Asians have a view of Christ being Asian?" Yeah. If you look at like pictures and paintings in Asian churches and Japanese churches of Jesus, he's often portrayed as being either like Chinese or Taiwanese or Japanese or whatever like sort of country you belong to. You don't see that a lot though because we live in the West. So Eastern pictures of Jesus are very popular. And sometimes in India, some churches in India have pictures of Jesus that make him look Hindu. Risa says, not exactly true. In most African countries where Christianity is prominent, he's depicted white. Well, yeah, I mean, there are going to be I'm talking about ancient Christian churches. He's portrayed as being black, but yeah, a lot of modern day, like evangelical Christians come into Africa and like converted en masse a lot of African people. So of course they adopt some of the imagery from those evangelical Christians. But really old paintings of Jesus found in Africa from a long time ago. Maybe I'll find some and I'll show them up later. I'm really looking forward to the fact, like, when I get a computer, I'll actually be able to, like, show images on my screen so that I can actually, like, show off the Hebrew of the Hebrew Bible or show the verses above me or just pictures. So be expecting that within the next few weeks. Yeah. I still have to go out and buy the monitor. So guys, if you really want to hurry up and get me working on the PC, then my Cash App is readily available. Just saying. So
He does not make a lot of money in Texas, the state, and I'm saying this so he doesn't have to. It's the minimum wage is like $7.25, and I think he makes like around $10 doing his job. So
I make $11. Thank you very much for that.
Sorry, $11. So it's not like he has a ton of money sitting around. Like it's literally when he spends money, like the percentage of his income is actually pretty high for doing this type of thing. So
Lou says,
appreciates it.
Lou says, "Do you have PayPal?" I do, and I probably need to put my PayPal on the link tree as well. But I have Cash App, and it's on the link tree. So, I love having you both back on here. By the way, says Heather's Descent. Thank you, Heather. We appreciate that. Denny says, "Wow, the U.S. is horrible." Yeah, it is. Yes, but don't dox. I don't really care about that. I feel like eventually, it's like with Justin. Anyone who Googles Justin can quickly find out what his first and last name is. I feel like eventually the same thing's going to end up happening to me, so I don't care. Also, my boss won't fire me for doing what I do because she's already aware, and Ashley knows who my boss is, and my boss would probably kick the ass out of anyone who tried to, like, speak crap about me.
Your boss is an awesome lady.
Mm-hmm. I have a picture of her on my wall. I mean, you can't see it, but yeah. Do you have a regular streaming schedule? I don't yet, but guess what? As soon as we start dual streaming, I will set up an actual like streaming schedule for when we go live. I'll make that a thing to do. It'll probably be definitely on the days when Justin isn't live. So not on Mondays, not on Wednesdays, or not on Fridays. Don't worry about the Bible. The words of Jesus are pretty dope, though. Some of them are, and some of them aren't. Jesus was very pro the law of Moses, and I don't think the law of Moses was all that good.
When he calls that lady a dog, it wasn't very nice.
Yeah, that was the one not cool, too. He called the Syrophoenician woman a dog. Okay, work around them so we are always entertained. Yeah, constant stream. Which, by the way, means that I'm working 6 days a week, but also I'm streaming like 6 days a week. They are not all that innovative. Who? The Gospels? Right, that will give Ash some purpose in life. What the heck? Ashlyn has a lot of purpose in life.
I have a whole ass degree.
Yeah, she's got more. She's got more going on than I do.
I don't know about that, but
I don't. I have a high school attitude and a give him hell attitude. High school degree and a give him hell attitude. Lou says, "Do you and Ashlyn know each other IRL?" We do.
yeah.
I had Ashlyn come down to Texas and spend 2 weeks with me.
I made him food.
Yeah, we had Thanksgiving together last year.
We gave thanks.
We gave thanks to Doug.
Yeah.
Let's see. And Lou says, and she's super cool.
Aw, thank you.
Deconstruction creators are saving my sanity. Thank you. You're welcome, Kelly James. I knew Ashlyn from other lives.
Yeah, Lou is a mod on Ian's Live, I think it is.
Are you really a mod on Ian's Live? That explains why you're always sending me Ian's Lives, Lou. Dipster says she's so edumacated. Roro says, what is your eye? My eye?
Roro's OG, by the way, too. You remember Roro?
That name does look familiar. Roro, what do you mean by my eye? Alaska Snowflake goes, oh, that Lou. Yes, that Lou. Some people rely on those stupid shares. Hey, I click on them sometimes, Lou. I watch Ian's lives sometimes when you send them to me.
Oh, I let people spam me with shares, and I'll just heart them. I don't care. Get those shares out. No, Lou, you're not annoying.
Risa says, I love Ian. Ian's great. I have only spoken with Ian once, and that's because I was on the Unapologetic show with him a couple weeks ago. But even then, like when it comes to Ian, Blitz, and Justin, I speak to Justin the most of all those three. And then every now and then, I'll message Blitz. And I don't really talk to Ian at all. Like I haven't had any time to interact with them.
Ian's my intellectual crush. I don't know why. Like you have those like people that I don't know why. I love
Dr. Joe says, I'm serious about the job if you want to work in mental health. Ashland.
Wait, what? My brain just broke.
Yeah, get with that Dr. Joe on that.
Oh, okay. Ian intimidates you, yeah.
Who actually need those shares. A lot of us are neurodivergent as fuck. I am neurodivergent as fuck. I have ADHD.
I dropped you a follow, Dr. Joe.
Yeah, Dr. Joe's great. You need to subscribe to her YouTube channel as well.
Oh, I didn't know Dr. Joe had a YouTube channel. I have to...
Dr. Joe says, Ian intimidates me. Oh, yeah, Lou. Actually, last year, like, me and Ashland are hanging out together. And I'm just like, I'm locked in. I'm listening to the conversation. And she looks at me and goes, do you have autism?
Stop! I felt like we were close enough then that I could ask you, but I'm like, sometimes it's when I met you and like how your mannerisms are, and there was just your eye contact is very different, and you're very different.
That's because I was told that when you talk to someone, you have to make eye contact with them.
Yeah, it was an interesting type of eye contact.
Yeah, I always lock eyes with people when I talk to them because that's what I've been told that you're supposed to do. So I do that. Same Dalton, the eye contact thing. Absolutely, Lou. Let's have a stare off sometime. Alaska says maybe. I was too LO and I have AUDHD. What's AUDHD?
Autism and ADHD.
If I'm looking into your eyes, I'm not listening. I've got really good at like listening and doing it at the same time. If I did it my way, I would probably just look around when you're talking to me, which is why I don't always look at the camera. I don't know what I got, but I know it's something. Hey, spicy brain.
Did I tell you my best friend here? He did the same thing to me. He goes, he's like, yeah, I've kind of always thought you had a little bit of the tism.
Spicy brain. Absolutely.
I'm like, I don't think so, but it's probably ADHD.
Where were you making the reference? What was that? Where were you making the reference about a woman being violated? So that's going to be in the Torah, and I think it's Deuteronomy 21, right, Ash?
22.
22. I'm diagnosed Denny. That would be Deuteronomy chapter 22 gives us a passage about how Israelite women could be raped by Israelite men who went to war. Not great. not great. And Yahweh's fine
Yeah,
with that.
2022 it's in 2213. It's called the Laws Concerning Sexual Relations. And it goes all through. It talks about stoning women who don't bleed on their wedding night. It talks about the grape thing. It's the whole thing is really gross. But yeah, it's 2213, and it goes all the way through until 23.
Christians. Hey, listen, there's 102 people in here. Surely some of you are Christian, and you would like to debate me in regards to the Bible and why I should believe in it. And listen, I am about to end the live, but if I get a guest, I will stay on longer. I will do that.
Yeah. The female captives is 2110.
All of us just having a good chat in here. Yep, that's true. Let's see. I feel like there were a lot of Christians in the comment section who were like sort of spamming and stuff like that, but now they're all gone. Perhaps they've been converted.
You did it, Dalton.
I've ended it. I'm not educated in you. Well, Stephen Carter, W to you. A lot of people don't realize that quick enough. Evan says Stacy ran away. It looks like she did. I wonder how many people.
Oh, sorry.
I wonder how many people hate watch me. Maybe I'm the Messiah. I brought peace. What was that, Ash?
Sam.
Oh, Sam I Am. Sam I Am is obsessed with the fact that I'm a stock boy. I don't know why. I think he thinks it makes a point, as if somehow it invalidates everything I say. But he's just too stupid to understand.
He said you work at a grocery store, so he got it wrong.
Oh, he misunderstood me. I work at a gas station, everybody.
Hey, student.
Lou says, Sam I Am is a little odd. He sure is. Stephen Carr says, I'm kind of on the fence with the whole Christianity thing anyways. Hey, understandable, considering that Jesus didn't fulfill any messianic prophecy. Sam I Am is boosting the algorithm, though. That is true.
Yeah, but they spam, so I just muted them.
Yeah. Not gonna lie, I was hoping the rapture was gonna happen. Sounds peaceful. If only, if only. OMG, I can't believe they don't pay you a proper minimum wage there. Infuriates me. You mean like, what's the proper minimum wage?
Ours is $15 an hour in the state, and it's like 2021 in the city.
Yeah, mutes are fine. I don't think it messes too much with the algorithm. Yeah, I only get paid $11 an hour. Dr. Joe says $35 an hour. Yeah, that would be great if I got paid that much. I'd be able to do a lot more in my life, but right now I'm kind of like stuck. Although I'm starting to finally make money doing this, so hopefully that can help get me out of this rut that is life. Can you talk about that a bit? How Jesus didn't fulfill prophecy? Yeah, I mean, it's quite simple. Like, there are lots of prophecies about the Messiah in the Hebrew Bible, and Jesus doesn't fulfill any of them. And the ones that the New Testament says he does fulfill, when you go back and read them, aren't even prophecies in the first place. They're either narratives or poems, or they are prophecies, but they're about someone completely different. And they're either mistranslated or taken out of context in order to make them sound as if they are about Jesus. Watch out, Justin might materialize in excitement. That is his favorite topic, and it's also my favorite topic. We are like locked in, me and him. I don't know. We have a lot in common as far as like our the way our brains work. Risa says, for example, just one example, the Messiah is supposed to bring peace to the whole world, which Jesus didn't. Except for the beard. Yes, I am the clean-shaven one. That's how people will now distinguish us, as the clean-shaven one versus the bearded one.
Yeah, y'all look like exactly the same otherwise.
You're being sarcastic. Okay. I hope we can create a culture of education and
Y'all see
enlightenment
my
over time.
past? Sorry.
I did love your
Don't
stance,
do
though,
this to
Dom.
people you don't know. Sorry. Don't ask these questions to people you don't know very well.
Glitter says Justin's mic is too harsh. Dalton's is mellow. Fun fact: this was Justin's mic, and now it belongs to me. And this is the part where I start doing Bible Guy ASMR. Here,
He uses OBS so he can turn his mic up.
up, yeah. Here, I'm gonna read to you guys from the Song of Songs in Hebrew, the spiciest book of the Bible. Daniel Green is live. We should send everyone we should, and I'll go over there and I'll hop up in his like little box and hang out with him for a second. I'm just gonna read some of Song of Songs for you guys real quick. Just a little foretaste of Bible Guy ASMR. Let's see, Tanakh. Where is it at? Zephaniah, Zechariah, Song of Songs. Shir Hashirim Asher Lishlomo Yishkani Mishkanikot Pihu Ki Tovim Dodicha Miyain. There you go.
Christian's gonna scroll in and think you're like giving a curse or something.
Uga Buga Shir Hashirim Asher Lishlomo. Anyways, guys, make sure everyone go over to I already forgot. Daniel Green. Go over to Daniel Green's live and tell him that the Bible Guy has sent you. And we'll see you guys over there. All right. Shalom.